Chapter 152. Lin Momo said, "Second aunt, this is my boyfriend Qin Haodong." Ah, boyfriend? Although Zhang Xiuying had heard about Qin Haodong from Lin Pingqiao and his son, she did not expect that Lin Momo would bring him here today. Momo, it's not appropriate for a man to eat here, is it? In her mind, she could not wait to kick Qin Haodong out. Isn't he a man? Lin Momo pointed to Xuanbang and said, "If you don't want to, then we'll go back together." After seeing Xuanbang, she really wanted to turn around and leave immediately, but considering that Zhang Xiuying was an elder after all, she still had to give some basic face. "Well, let's sit together." Zhang Xiuying could only let Lin Momo and Qin Haodong into the private room together. This was a Western restaurant, and there was a long square table in the private room. Qin Haodong naturally would not let his woman sit with a man, so he sat on Xuanbang's side, and Lin Momo and Zhang Xiuying sat on the other side. After sitting down, Zhang Xiuying said, "Momo, let me introduce you. This is Xuanbang, the young master of the Xue family from the capital." "No need to introduce me. We've already met," Lin Momo said coldly. It seemed that her son's speculation was right. Xuanbang was rejected by Lin Momo, and then he asked her for help. Thinking about it, Zhang Xiuying said, "Momo Anbang is really good. He is very good in all aspects. Now he has been designated as the heir of the Xue family." Even though Zhang Xiuying praised Xuanbang with saliva, Lin Momo did not even look at him, and the expression on her face became more and more indifferent. Finally, Zhang Xiuying said, "Momo, Anbang fell in love with you at first sight. I think it's just right for you to be together. As long as you follow Anbang, you will immediately be a rich lady in the capital. Don't forget me then." "Second aunt, what are you talking about? I have a boyfriend. I hate this person very much, and it's impossible for me to be with him. If you mention it again, I'll get up and leave." Seeing that Lin Momo's attitude was so determined, Xuanbang quickly winked at Zhang Xiuying. He had already fully known Lin Pingqiao's plan, so he was not in a hurry. After Lin Momo took the medicine, he could do whatever he wanted with her. Zhang Xiuying also understood and hurriedly said, "That's enough, second aunt. Let's eat." Then she called the waiter and said, "Hurry up and serve the dishes." Qin Haodong clearly saw the flirting between the woman and Xuanbang, but he didn't say anything. He just watched them perform. Soon, a waiter in his 20s walked into the room with a tray. There were 4 glasses of red wine on the tray, and he delivered them to the 4 people one by one. Qin Haodong's spirit was powerful. He had clearly felt that one of the glasses of red wine had a strange aura, and the waiter deliberately sent the glass of wine to Lin Momo. It was obvious that Zhang Xiuying had added something to it. After the waiter put down the red wine, he turned his head and was about to leave. Qin Haodong flicked his fingers, and an invisible force shot out. The waiter felt his knees go soft for no reason. He slipped and fell to the ground with a plop. His fall was so sudden that it immediately attracted the attention of several people. Zhang Xiuying and Xuanbang looked at the door together. At this moment, the red wine glasses in front of Lin Momo and Zhang Xiuying suddenly disappeared and were put into the storage ring by Qin Haodong. When he took them out again, the 2 glasses had changed positions. It was complicated to say, but the process added up to less than a second. It was silent and traceless. Almost in the blink of an eye, he exchanged the 2 glasses without anyone noticing. After the waiter got up from the ground, he quickly bowed to the people in the room and said, "I'm sorry. I'm really sorry to disturb your meal. Well, be careful in the future. Hurry up and bring up all our dishes." After Xuanbang waved his hand to let the waiter go out, he said to Lin Momo with a flattering face, "Momo, I specially ordered this for you. It's the best Bordeaux wine in this restaurant. A bottle costs 100,000 yuan. Then he raised his glass, but Lin Momo rolled her eyes at him and did not respond. Zhang Xiuying quickly followed and said, "Yes, Momo. It's rare for us to have dinner together. Let's have a drink first." Qin Haodong also raised his glass and said, "Yes, Momo. It's rare for second aunt to show her kindness. Let's have a drink together, and we must drink it." After that, he took the lead in raising his glass and drank up the red wine in the glass. After drinking, he smacked his lips and praised, This wine tastes really good. It's not fake wine. Momo, I'll drink too. Xuanbang also drank up the wine in his glass. He was secretly happy and thought to himself, this idiot is really cooperative. Your woman will be in my bed later. Zhang Xiuying also drank up the wine. Seeing that she was alone, Lin Momo could only drink up the wine in her glass. Seeing that Lin Momo had drunk up the wine, Zhang Xiuying and Xuanbang looked at each other with a trace of pride and excitement in their eyes. At this time, the waiter brought up 4 steaks and placed them in front of them. Qin Haodong was too lazy to cut the steaks one by one, so he directly took a big bite with a fork. Zhang Xiuying looked at Qin Haodong with disgust and said, this is a high-end restaurant. Can't you eat with some quality? The most important thing about eating is to be refreshed. Why do you have to pay so much attention to it? Qin Haodong took another big bite of the steak and said vaguely, when I eat steak, I like to chase the cow's butt. It's fresh with fur and skin, flesh and blood and taste. That's satisfying. What? Zhang Xiuying had goosebumps all over her body. Looking at the steak in front of her, she no longer had any appetite, but Lin Momo couldn't help laughing. Seeing that Qin Haodong ate the steak in front of him quickly, Zhang Xiuying said, come out with me. I have something to tell you. She had just calculated that Lin Zhigao said that this powder was very effective and would take effect in about 5 minutes. So she had to take Qin Haodong away. Otherwise, it would be difficult for Xuanbang to take Lin Momo away. Can't we talk here? Qin Haodong asked. It's not convenient here. You can talk with me outside. Well, you have to hurry up, or the dishes will be cold. Qin Haodong reluctantly looked at the delicious food on the table and walked out of the restaurant with Zhang Xiuying. Zhang Xiuying deliberately took Qin Haodong out of the restaurant and came to the window facing Lin Momo, so that Xuanbang could observe the situation and take action at any time. What's the matter? Hurry up, Qin Haodong said impatiently. Have you found that you don't deserve our Momo at all? If you know what's good for you, get out of here and stay away from Momo. Out of the restaurant, Zhang Xiuying was no longer polite. Qin Haodong sneered and said, whether I deserve Momo or not, it's up to her. Does it have anything to do with you? Zhang Xiuying said, can you be shameless? Why are you so shameless? Qin Haodong looked at her, his eyes as sharp as a knife, and said coldly, you are the shameless person, and you don't deserve Momo. You are a vicious woman, and you don't deserve to be her second aunt. You are not worthy of Momo's affection and respect for you. What are you talking about? Do you have any quality? Do you know how to respect your elders? Respect? Elder? Qin Haodong said, what a joke. A woman who drugged her niece should be respected. A woman who sent her niece to someone else's bed has the nerve to say that she is an elder. What? What did you say? Zhang Xiuying was shocked. Qin Haodong said coldly, you know what I said best. Don't think I don't know that you added something to Momo's wine. So what? I did all this for Momo. It's for her own good. Don't be shameless. Qin Haodong said, you did this kind of dirty thing for your son to inherit the position of president of Lin's group. How dare you say it's for Momo? How? How do you know? Zhang Xiuying's heart had been completely confused. She didn't understand how Qin Haodong knew all this clearly. At the same time, she looked inside the window, hoping that Xuanbang would take Lin Momo away as soon as possible. But to her disappointment, Xuanbang and Lin Mingming were still sitting there quietly, looking at her from time to time. Qin Haodong read her mind and said, old witch, you don't have to look. Momo didn't drink your wine at all. That's impossible. I saw her finish the wine with my own eyes. Momo did drink it, but there was nothing in that glass of wine. Nothing you added. Impossible, impossible. What about the wine with something added? Zhang Xiuying became more and more flustered. Qin Haodong looked at her with a playful face and said, that glass of wine must have been drunk by someone. You'll know who it is soon. What do you mean? Zhang Xiuying looked at Qin Haodong and suddenly felt as if her body was on fire. She had an impulse to take off her clothes immediately. At the same time, her brain became blurred and she slowly lost her mind. In the private room, Xuanbang kept watching Lin Momo, waiting for her toxicity to take effect, and then he would take her away directly. However, Lin Momo's eyes were as clear as water, and there was no sign of poisoning. What's going on? Is there something wrong with Zhang Xiuying's medicine? Thinking of this, Xueanbong couldn't help but look at Zhang Xiuying downstairs, and he was shocked by what he saw. He saw Zhang Xiuying twisting her fat body downstairs, and then taking off her clothes one by one, and throwing them around. Lin Momo also saw Zhang Xiuying's abnormality, and immediately stood up. She didn't understand what her second aunt was doing. After all, she was the second grandmother of the Lin family. It was too shameful to do this. Milan Restaurant was located in the commercial center of Jiangnan City. At this time, there were countless guests coming and going. Zhang Xiuying's abnormal performance immediately attracted the attention of countless people. Many people took out their mobile phones and began to take photos and videos of her. In a Mercedes not far away, Lin Jigao and Lin Pingchao were worried about Zhang Xiuying coming here alone. They sat in the car and watched the movement, waiting for Xueanbong to take Lin Momo away. They saw clearly that Zhang Xiuying called Qin Haodong out, but they didn't know why Zhang Xiuying suddenly began to dance striptease. Even though Lin Pingchao was cunning, he was shocked to see this scene and exclaimed, "What's wrong with my mother?" Chapter 153. Stop her. Lin Jigao and Lin Pingchao rushed out of the car together. They all knew the seriousness of the matter. The second grandma of the Lin family was stripping in the street, which would be a big scandal. Two people with 4 bodyguards rushed into the crowd. Fortunately, they came in time. Zhang Xiuying did not take off her underwear, but her upper body was already naked. Lin Jigao quickly took off his coat and put it on Zhang Xiuying. Then he got Zhang Xiuying, who was struggling, into the car. The onlookers would not miss this wonderful drama. They chased after her with their mobile phones to take pictures, until Lin Pingchao drove away. Looking at the embarrassed father and son of the Lin family, Qin Haodong smiled and turned back to the Milan Western restaurant. In another restaurant not far away, Qi Weiner's face became more and more ugly. She had made an appointment with Qin Haodong to meet here, but this guy actually stood her up. Yesterday they had agreed to eat here at 11 a.m., but after 12 a.m., she did not see Qin Haodong. She pouted and took out her mobile phone to call Qin Haodong, but she put it down after thinking about it. She wanted to see what made Qin Haodong forget her. Qi Weiner took out a microcomputer from her bag. As the world's top hacker, she always carried a computer with her. Soon she located the signal location of Qin Haodong's mobile phone and left the restaurant in a hurry. When Qin Haodong returned to the private room, Lin Momo had just recovered from the shock. Seeing him entering the room, she hurriedly asked, "Haodong, what the hell is going on? What's wrong with my second aunt?" Qin Haodong smiled and said, "I don't know. She suddenly began to take off her clothes and dance. Maybe she ate something indigestible in the morning." Lin Momo was not a fool. She could sit in the position of the president of Lin's group. She knew that things would not be so simple. She just saw Lin Jigao and Lin Pingchao rushing into the crowd. Of course, she would not think it was just a coincidence. There must be something hidden. But because Xueanbong was next to her, she did not ask again. Xueanbong had seen most of it. Nothing happened to Lin Momo, but Zhang Xiuying danced striptease. It was obvious that Zhang Xiuying drank the glass of wine, but in his opinion, it must have been arranged by the Lin family, so that the waiter sent the wrong glass. Since he couldn't rely on Zhang Xiuying, he could only rely on himself today. Fortunately, he had prepared for the worst in advance. Xueanbong said to Lin Momo, "Momo, to tell you the truth, I've seen a lot of beautiful women in my life, but I've never been attracted by one like you. As long as you nod your head, you can be the young lady of our Xue family. Find someone else to be your mistress. I don't care." Lin Momo turned her head and said to Qin Haodong, "Let's go." Originally, this dinner was arranged by Zhang Xiuying. Now that Zhang Xiuying had left, there was naturally no need for her to stay. Seeing that Lin Momo ignored him, the young master of the Xue family, Xueanbong, said, "Why bother? We are all civilized people. It's good to go with me happily. Why don't you do it the hard way?" Lin Momo didn't even look at him. She turned her head and walked to the door of the private room. But as soon as she got to the door, she was blocked by 2 bodyguards. Xuanbang smiled proudly and said, Lin Momo, you force me. Since you are so insensible, I can only take you back. When the rice is cooked, you will be as obedient as a kitten in my arms. Lin Momo said angrily, How dare you? Jiangnan City is a small place. There is nothing I dare not do. Xuanbang completely lost his patience and shouted to his bodyguards, Break the man's legs and throw him out. Take the woman directly. As soon as he finished speaking, he saw 2 bodyguards flying towards him. Yes, they didn't rush to Qin Haodong, but flew to him. The 2 bodyguards hit Xuanbang together, and the 3 of them fell together like rolling gourds. When he got up from the ground, Xuanbang was shocked and angry. His 2 bodyguards were also masters in the family. They had reached the 8th level of overt power. He didn't expect that they would be thrown over like this. Who dares to attack our Xue family? He shouted and looked at the door. He saw a beautiful woman in her 20s standing at the door with a cold face. Tai Dan, you have grown up. How dare you attack my boss? Qi Wuner glared at Xuanbang and said, Tai Dan. After hearing Qi Wuner's words, Qin Haodong looked at Xuanbang and couldn't help laughing. He didn't expect that the young master of the Xue family had such a beautiful name. Who are you? How do you know my nickname? Xuanbang looked at Qi Wuner in surprise. He was born weak and sick, so the elders gave him such a nickname. According to the older generation, a crooked name was easy to raise, but not many people knew it. He didn't understand how the woman in front of him knew it. Tai Dan, you have grown up now. You don't even know me? Qi Wuner said and took 2 steps forward, coming to Xuanbang. After Xuanbang looked at her carefully, he looked shocked and cried, You are the young lady? Qi Wuner snorted and said, You are not blind. The Xue family's rise in the capital was in the last 20 years. One of the most fundamental reasons was that Qi Wuner's mother, Shi Zhishuan, married into the Qi family, and the head of the Xue family, Xue Chang'an, was Shi Zhishuan's cousin. It was because of the relationship with the Qi family, a first-class family in the capital, that the Xue family could rise. Without the support of the Qi family, the Xue family would be nothing at all. Because of this, the Xue family tried their best to curry favor with the Qi family, and Xuanbang was no exception. Moreover, the woman in front of him was the daughter of the head of the Xue family. As long as Qi Wuner said a word, Xue Chang, and would immediately break his legs. After recognizing Qi Wuner's identity, he quickly stepped forward and said, Don't be angry, young lady. I didn't recognize you for a while when you took off your veil. At the same time, he was very curious. It was said that Qi Wuner had an incurable disease, but now she looked completely cured, and there was no sign of illness. Qi Wuner looked at him coldly and said, Tai Dan, you are so capable now. You dare to come to Jiangnan City to steal my boss's woman. Do you want me to call my uncle now? Xuanbang trembled with fear and quickly cried, No, please don't. Xue Chang'an had 5 sons, and he was not the only heir. If Qi Wuner directly called Xue Chang'an, the impact would be absolutely huge. Not to mention inheriting the throne of the family in the future. He might be driven out of the Xue family. Young lady, I was wrong. I really didn't know the relationship between this gentleman and you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have dared to do it. He still didn't know what the relationship between Qin Haodong and Qi Wuner was. How could the young lady of the Qi family have a boss? But he also saw that Qin Haodong had a very high position in Qi Wuner's mind, which was far from what he could compare with. Qi Wuner said, What's the use of telling me? If you know you're wrong, apologize to my boss quickly. Hey, apologize at once. Xuanbang turned around and bowed to Qin Haodong. I'm sorry, Mr. Qin. Please forgive me this time. You have no sincerity at all. Do you want to die? Qi Wuner shouted angrily. Xuanbang knelt in front of Qin Haodong, raised his hand and slapped his mouth. I'm sorry, Mr. Qin. I'm not a human being. I'm a beast. Please let me go. At the moment when he saw Qi Wuner, Qin Haodong suddenly remembered that he had promised to eat with her, and suddenly felt extremely embarrassed. Since Xuanbang was an acquaintance of Qi Wuner, he no longer pursued it. He waved his hand and said, Get out of here. Don't come to Jiangnan again. Yes, Thank you, Mr. Qin. I won't come again. After Xueanbong finished speaking, he stood up from the ground, bowed to Qi Wen-er and said, Young lady, Mr. Qin has forgiven me. Do you think you should not tell my father about this? I don't care about your family's business. Get out of here. Qi Wen-er waved her hand. Xueanbong, as if he had been pardoned, quickly left the restaurant with 2 bodyguards. After going out, he took a long breath and turned to the 2 bodyguards and said, After going back, this must be kept a secret. Do you remember? The Xue family depended on the Qi family to survive. They had to look at the Qi family's face for everything. If the Xue family knew that he had offended the young lady of the Qi family, he would certainly not have a good life in the future. Yes, young master will remember. The 2 bodyguards had just been beaten by Qi Wen-er. Naturally, they did not want to mention this matter. In the private room, Qin Haodong said to Qi Wen-er, Little girl, you are very powerful. Why is Xueanbong so afraid of you? Why does he call you young lady? Don't worry about it. Remember that you owe me a meal. If you dare to stand me up next time, I will make you pay. Qi Wen-er waved her fist to Qin Haodong and left the restaurant. Lin Momo and Qin Haodong returned to her president's office and asked, Now can you tell me what happened today? Qin Haodong told her what had happened from beginning to end. Lin Momo sighed and said with a lost face, I didn't expect that for such a president position, my uncle's family would become like this. I really should go to my grandfather and tell him to give up the position of president directly. It's useless. Can your grandfather give the whole group to such a family to manage? Lin Momo was silent. It was true. The old man Lin Xiaotian had already seen through Lin Pingchao's character. Otherwise, he would have passed on the position of president to him. After a while she said, Since you already knew it, why didn't you tell me earlier? Let's not go. Qin Haodong said, For people like them, even if you don't go today, they will do worse things in the future. It's better to solve the problem once and for all. Now you have taught that woman a lesson and driven Xueanbong away. Isn't it good? Lin Momo asked. By the way, what happened to my second aunt? Did you do it? Qin Haodong spread his hands and said, What do you mean I did it? She asked for it. I just exchanged your glass with hers. Forget it. Let bygones be bygones. I hope that through this matter, my uncle's family can learn a lesson and don't make any more trouble in the future. As soon as Lin Momo finished speaking, the door opened. And Bairu came in from the outside and said, President, someone from the purchasing department just said that the raw jade stones in our warehouse have been out of stock, and we need to replenish them. Chapter 154. Lin Momo also said, Yes, have you checked it to see if there is any problem? In the past few days, Lin Jigao and his son had been playing dirty tricks behind her back. She was afraid that it was another trick played by Lin Pingchao. Pan Bairu said, I have gone to the purchasing department and made a detailed investigation. There are some raw gemstones in stock, but they are all low-end jade. The high-end jade has been out of stock. According to the company's original plan, after the jade exhibition, we were going to use the funds to buy a large number of raw gemstones in Burma to supplement the supply. But now the jade gang suddenly stopped selling to us, so the original plan could not be implemented. Now the situation is very serious. If we don't supply the high-end jade products of Lin's group in time, the sales will be interrupted, which will affect the overall image and reputation of our group. It's really a bit troublesome. Lin Momo turned to look at Qin Haodong and said, Now we can only use the goods in your hands. Qin Haodong said, No problem. Now find me 10 stone-cutting masters and enough stone-cutting machines. Send them to Daddy Security Company immediately. I will provide you with sufficient supplies tomorrow. At that time, you can ask the purchasing department to talk to Nalan Wushuang. That's easy. You go first. I'll bring people later. Lin Momo asked Qin Haodong to go to Daddy's security company first to prepare, and she began to mobilize the resources of the group. A large group mainly in the jade industry. Lin's group naturally had all kinds of cutting machines, including all kinds of models. There were also many stone-cutting masters. Lin Momo personally selected 10 of the best skills and brought them to Daddy's security company. Qin Haodong was ready. He asked Zhang Tiniu to take people to guard the whole company and forbid any outsiders from entering. Then he took Lin Momo and 10 stone-cutting masters into the spacious underground warehouse. These stone-cutting masters were temporarily summoned, and they didn't know what to do. When they entered the warehouse and saw the raw gemstones, they were slightly surprised. They didn't understand why the stock of Lin's group was placed here. Lin Momo said to them, "From now on, you all listen to Qin Haodong's unified command and do whatever he tells you to do." Qin Haodong pointed to these raw stones and said, "Everyone, your task now is to cut out all the jade in these stones. To tell you the truth, each of these raw stones contains valuable jade. You must be careful when cutting them. Don't break them." After listening to his words, a bearded stone-cutting master in his 50s said, "Mr. Qin, you can rest assured about the stone-cutting skills. We are all masters in this field. We will definitely not do anything that will lose our skills. But it's not realistic to say that there's jade in all these raw gemstones. I've dealt with raw gemstones for more than half of my life, and I've never heard of anyone who can see if there's jade in the raw gemstones." Qin Haodong said, "You don't have to doubt that. Just do as I say. As long as these stones are cut, everyone will be rewarded with 10,000 yuan. The saying goes, there will be brave men with high rewards." This sentence also applies to the stone-cutting industry. Originally, Master Zhang wanted to say something, but after hearing Qin Haodong's reward, he immediately waved his hand and said to the other workers, "Brothers, let's get to work. Since Mr. Qin has offered such a high price, we should make craftsmanship worthy of this reward." Hearing that there would be a reward of 10,000 yuan after they finished the work, the others were also very excited. They all started to operate the stone-cutting machine and entered the working state. For a moment, the friction between the machine and the stone in the warehouse was deafening, and smoke and dust were everywhere. Lin Momo pulled Qin Haodong aside and said, "Haodong, you told them the secret of these raw gemstones. Won't there be trouble?" Qin Haodong said, "Even if I don't tell them, they will find out the secret after cutting the raw gemstones. It's better to tell them early, so that they can be more careful when they work. These jade are very valuable. If they are cut and damaged, the loss will be great." Lin Momo said, "What you said does make sense, but what if they go out and talk nonsense? Although these people are employees of the group, I can't guarantee that they can keep the secret 100%. Qin Haodong smiled confidently and said, "Don't worry, I have a way." This time, there was an exclamation next to him. "Oh my god, look, there's jade in my first stone, and it's of the glutinous rice type. This is also my first stone, and there's jade in it. It looks like the jade of the ice type. Be careful, there's jade in my stone, and the quality is very good. Don't cut it and damage it." Qin Haodong had already said that these stones were carefully selected from the raw gemstones of the Feng family, and each of them was of high quality. But it was one thing to hear it, and another thing to see it with his own eyes. Seeing that there was jade in the raw gemstones one after another, Lin Momo looked at Qin Haodong and said, "I really don't know how you chose them. If Feng Tianda saw this, he would vomit blood. Don't worry about that. I have a special ability, and I can tell if there are good things inside at a glance." Qin Haodong took her hand and walked to the pile of raw gemstones. "Let's find a stone to play with." Although these raw gemstones were all carefully selected by him, there was one that was the best of the best, and he was most optimistic about it. The spiritual qi in it was frighteningly rich, so he wanted to cut it and see what kind of treasure it was. The stone was more than 1 meter high and 60 or 70 centimeters wide, and it seemed to weigh at least 300 kilograms. But Qin Haodong didn't ask anyone else for help, and he moved it to the cutting machine with his own hands, and it looked very easy. He asked Lin Momo to stand aside, and then he began to cut the stone with the cutting machine. With the powerful perception of the spirit, Qin Haodong's cutting speed was much faster than those experienced stone cutters. Soon, a touch of bright yellow flashed from the cutting surface. Qin Haodong picked up the basin next to him and poured water on the stone to wash off the powder. A bright color came into his eyes, It was a kind of bright yellow, which looked like oil, giving people a delicate and fragrant feeling. P. Yellow jade. Oh my god, it's yellow jade. P. Lin Momo screamed in surprise. P. What? Is yellow jade very precious? Isn't it said that all jade is green? P. Qin Haodong completely relied on the spiritual qi to distinguish raw gemstones, and he didn't know much about the basic knowledge of jade. In his original impression, the greener the jade, the better. P. It's not like that. Lin Momo shook her head, calmed down, and then said, the reason why people like green jade is completely influenced by the last old woman of the Qing dynasty in the early years. Later, there was also the First Lady of the Republic of China. She was also very fond of green jadeite, which caused people to form the view that green was the most important. It led to the misunderstanding that green was good. Many people thought that the greener the jadeite, the better it was. This led people to ignore that green jade also had pure color and mixed color, and the value was also high and low. Some people didn't even know that there was red and yellow jade. Green was almost synonymous with jade. In fact, red and yellow jade were much rarer than green jade. The formation of yellow jade must be in the process of its formation. There must be the secondary mineral limonite next to it. And then after countless years of erosion and fusion, it can form this unique color. Different from red, blue, purple and green jade, the best yellow jade is even rarer. After taking a breath, Lin Momo continued. But in recent years, with the improvement of people's appreciation ability and taste, red and yellow jades have become more and more popular because of their outstanding decorative and personalized features. The characteristics of their warm colors are easy to blend with the skin color of our Huaxia people, so they are more and more recognized by the people who like jade. Although the natural value of jade is lower than that of green jade in the current jade jewelry market, it is only based on the sense of equal quality. High-quality jade is still much more expensive than low-quality green jade. Pin fact: as early as the ancient times of Huaxia, bright yellow is the exclusive color of the emperor, and yellow is the most precious. In recent years, the retro style is popular in Huaxia. Once the best yellow jade comes out, it will immediately be hyped up at a sky-high price. So there is no yellow jade in circulation in the market at all. Qin Haodong asked, the value of this yellow jade or the king green in the little fellow's hand, which is more expensive? As far as the natural value of jade is concerned, the jade with pure color and good water is more valuable. The golden and translucent yellow jade is a very precious top-grade jade. Just like the value of yellow jade exceeds the value of cultivated white jade. The best yellow jade is extremely rare in the market, and it is even more precious and rare than the king green. Qin Haodong said in surprise. So this jade is more precious than the king green? Lin Momo said. You've only unraveled a little bit, so you can't be sure yet. The specific value can't be known until you completely unravel it. That's easy. I'll let it see the light of day now. Then, Qin Haodong operated the cutting machine and continued to cut the raw jade stone. 10 minutes later, a yellow jade the size of a basketball, weighing about 10 kilograms, was exposed to the air. He cleaned the yellow jade with water, then held it in front of Lin Momo with both hands and asked, how is it? Lin Momo looked shocked. She reached out and gently touched the yellow jade, as if touching a rare treasure. She murmured, the color is bright yellow, and the color is pure. This is the best yellow jade. Qin Haodong had seen many rare treasures. Although this yellow jade was precious, it was just a valuable stone in his eyes. He asked, how much is it worth? Lin Momo came to her senses and said, as far as I know, there has not been such a large piece of the best yellow jade on the market at present, so the price is not sure, but I guess it is at least 200 or 300 million yuan. Qin Haodong smacked his lips and said, now that you mention it, I'm a little reluctant to sell it to Lin's group. How about keeping it as a dowry for my daughter? How old is your daughter? You've already started to prepare a dowry for her. Lin Momo said. Well, sell it to me. Qin Haodong laughed and said, what do you want it for? Do you want it as a dowry when we get married? Who said I'm going to marry you? Lin Momo glared at him coquettishly and said, it's Grandpa's 80th birthday in 3 days. I was worried that I couldn't find a suitable gift. Yellow jade is called Fu Yi in the three colors of jadeite, Fu Lu and Shou. It means auspiciousness and prosperity, so I want to make it into a decoration for Grandpa as a birthday gift. Qin Haodong said, I see. Then take it. This stone is for you. Lin Momo said gratefully, Haodong, thank you so much. Qin Haodong said, don't thank me. Your grandpa is my grandpa. The most important thing is that this old man is good to you. If it was your bullshit uncle, I wouldn't sell it to him no matter how much money he offered. Chapter 155. After opening this raw stone, Qin Haodong found that the spiritual qi in the other raw stones was much thinner. He lost interest in opening them again, and left the warehouse with Lin Momo. He left the warehouse to Zhang Tiniu, and told him that no one was allowed to leave the warehouse without his permission, and to contact the outside world. Then they got in the car, and left the daddy security company. In the car, Lin Momo kept playing with the yellow jade. She liked it very much. Qin Haodong asked, what are you going to carve for Grandpa? It's hard to say. We need a master carver to design a suitable object according to the color, nature and shape of the stone. Qin Haodong said, Lin's group should have a good carver, right? There are more than a dozen carvers in the group. I'll take the jade to them tomorrow. Speaking of this, Lin Momo sighed softly. In fact, the best engraver in Jiangnan is Master Su. It's a pity that he's too hard to find. If he could help, he would definitely make this jade into the best. Qin Haodong asked in surprise, can't Lin's group afford Master Su with its financial resources? Lin Momo said, it's not about money. Master Su has a very strange temper. He doesn't work for any company. He only works at home. He only carves one object every month. The price ranges from hundreds of thousands to millions. It also depends on the quality of the jade. In his words, it must be worthy of his craftsmanship. Is he that pretentious? How good is he? Qin Haodong asked. Of course. In the carving circle in Jiangnan, Master Su is the only one who can be called a master. Even in the whole country, his carving level can definitely be in the top 3. Qin Haodong said, since there is such a master, let's go to him, or it will be a waste of the best jade. Lin Momo said, but Master Su only works on the first 3 days of each month. It's the middle of this month, and Grandpa's 80th birthday is in 3 days. It's too late to wait for next month. Qin Haodong thought for a moment and said, there are exceptions. Tell me Master Su's address, and I'll visit him tomorrow. Maybe he will take the job because I'm handsome. Shameless. Lin Momo rolled her eyes at Qin Haodong, but she still sent Master Su's address to him. You must hurry up and do it tomorrow. If Master Su doesn't agree, we'll have to ask our group's sculptor to do it. There are only 3 days left. Time is of the essence. Qin Haodong said, don't worry. I'll handle it. I'll give our grandpa a surprise. The next morning, instead of going to work with Lin Momo, he drove to Master Su's house according to the address given by Lin Momo. This was a very quiet courtyard. Although it didn't look luxurious, it was very elegant. The quaint courtyard matched the title of Master Su very well. After Qin Haodong knocked on the door, a middle-aged woman in her 50s opened the door. She looked disappointed when she saw Qin Haodong and asked, who are you looking for? Does Master Su live here? I want to ask Master Su to carve a piece of jade for me. Qin Haodong asked. The woman didn't say anything. She raised her hand and knocked on the door. Qin Haodong then saw an A4 paper notice on the side. He didn't notice it because the position was not very obvious. It was written on the A4 paper, recently due to family issues, no business will be accepted. Sister, please help me tell Master Su that I do have a good thing here. It's definitely worth his help. Qin Haodong opened the cloth bag in his hand and showed the top-grade yellow jade to the woman. The woman was Master Su's wife Liu. She had been with Master Su for so many years, so she had a good eye. She could tell that the yellow jade was extraordinary at first glance. However, she sighed and said helplessly, young man, to tell you the truth, some bad things have happened to our family recently. If it was in the past, Old Su would definitely be able to accept the good material in your hands. However, it's really not possible now. You'd better find someone else. Seeing the woman's gloomy face, Qin Haodong knew that she was telling the truth. Since Li Yu had something to do, he couldn't force her. Thinking of this, he said goodbye to Li Yu and turned around to leave. At this time, a black Audi A6 came from afar and finally stopped in front of Master Su's house. As the door opened, an old man in a robe came out with a medicine box. It was Gao Fengwen, the traditional Chinese medicine expert whom Qin Haodong had met a few days ago. "Mr. Gao, you're here. Master Su and I have been waiting for you." Seeing Gao Fengwen, Li Yu immediately greeted him warmly. Gao Fengwen nodded to Li Yu and saw Qin Haodong standing next to her. He hurried forward and said, "Medical sage, why are you here? Did Master Su also invite you to see him?" "No, I have a good material in my hand. I came to ask Master Su for help. But Master Su has something to do, so I'm going back now." Speaking of this, Qin Haodong's heart skipped a beat. It turned out that Li Yu just said that there was something to do at home. If that was the case, there would be a great chance for things to turn around. In this world, there were few diseases that he couldn't cure. As expected, Gao Fengwen hurriedly said, "Medical sage, since you're here, please come with me. If I can't cure the disease, I'll have to trouble you." He completely admired Qin Haodong's medical skills from the bottom of his heart. Although he was refused to be Qin Haodong's apprentice, he was still very respectful to Qin Haodong and always used honorifics when talking to him. Li Yu was stunned. Her family had been friends with Gao Fengwen for generations, so she knew Gao Fengwen's medical skills very well. Gao Fengwen was definitely a leading figure in the traditional Chinese medicine circle in the south of the Yangtze River. His status was no less than that of Master Su in the carving industry. However, such a person was so respectful to the young man in front of her, and even called him medical sage. Who on earth was this young man? As if seeing Li Yu's doubts, Gao Fengwen said to her, "This is Dr. Qin Haodong, the medical sage of the traditional Chinese medicine circle in the south of the Yangtze River. His medical skills are definitely 100 times better than mine. As long as he's here, Xiaolong's disease will be guaranteed to be fine." If someone else said that the young man in front of her was the medical sage, Li Yu would not believe it. However, she firmly believed Gao Fengwen's words. She hurriedly stepped forward and said, "Dr. Qin, please help me. Please help my son." Sure. Qin Haodong had always been keen on curing diseases and saving people, so he directly agreed. He asked, "What disease does your son have?" Li Yu sighed and said, "Xiaolong has been in good health since he was a child. However, some time ago, he went to Africa with his friends and came back with a strange disease. He has a high fever. We've visited all the major hospitals, but they couldn't find any cause. In the end, there was no other way. Old Su said he wanted to try traditional Chinese medicine. So we took the child home and asked Mr. Gao to treat him. Lead the way. Let's see the patient's situation." Qin Haodong followed Li Yu into the yard and into a bedroom. The bedroom was very spacious. A young man in his 20s was lying on the bed. His face was pale and sickly. He was in a coma at the moment. A middle-aged man in his 50s was sitting at the head of the bed. At the moment, he was stooping with a sad face. He was Su Haichuan, the master of carving in Jiangnan. The sick man on the bed was his son Su Xiaolong. Seeing Gao Fengwen enter the room, Su Haichuan hurriedly got up to greet him. However, when he saw Qin Haodong walking in front of Gao Fengwen, he could not help but frown slightly. In his opinion, Qin Haodong should be Gao Fengwen's apprentice. However, this apprentice swaggered in front of his master, which was too unruly. However, at this time, he had no time to care so much. He stepped forward and grabbed Gao Fengwen's hand and said, "Brother, please take a look at Xiaolong. He is our only son. You must save him." Gao Fengwen looked back at Qin Haodong awkwardly. Qin Haodong waved his hand, indicating that he did not care. Seeing that Qin Haodong did not care, Gao Fengwen went directly to Su Xiaolong's bed and began to feel his pulse. He also wanted to see what kind of difficult disease Su Xiaolong had. If he could cure it, it would be fine. If not, he wanted to know the disease, so that he could learn when Qin Haodong treated him. As time went by, Gao Fengwen's eyebrows became tighter and tighter. This time, it took him 5 minutes to feel the pulse, and he slowly withdrew his right hand. Brother, how is Xiaolong's disease? Is there any way? Su Haichuan asked nervously. Gao Fengwen frowned and said, Xiaolong's internal organs have been damaged, but his pulse is strange. I can't see the cause at all. At this point, he paused for a moment, then said, I have read in an ancient book that this kind of pulse should be caused by an insect disease, but there is no record of how to treat this insect disease. This old man is also powerless. Seeing that Gao Fengwen could do nothing, Su Haichuan squatted on the chair, his eyes full of despair and sadness. Even though he was a famous carving master in the south of the Yangtze River, even though he was rich, he could not bear the pain of seeing his son die. Gao Fengwen said, Brother, don't worry. I'm just trying. Although I can't do anything about Xiaolong's disease, he will be cured with the medical sage. Medical sage? Su Haichuan's eyes regained some luster, but he did not understand what Gao Fengwen meant. He looked at him in confusion. Gao Fengwen turned to Qin Haodong and said, Medical sage, I can't do anything about this disease. Please take a look at it. Su Haichuan was even more shocked. He did not expect that this young man was not an apprentice, but the medical sage that Gao Fengwen mentioned. Qin Haodong stepped to Su Xiaolong's bed and put his hand on his pulse. A wisp of greenwood genuine qi entered Su Xiaolong's body along his meridians. The greenwood genuine qi was like his eyes. After a dozen seconds, he saw through Su Xiaolong's physical condition. Gao Fengwen was right. The cause of Su Xiaolong's disease was indeed insect disease. At the moment, his liver and lungs were full of small white insects. They were breeding and ovulating inside, which had caused great damage to his internal organs, which was the reason why he was in a coma. This kind of insects was very strange. They were rooted in the internal organs and did not dissolve in the blood. In addition, they were very small, so the hospital could not detect their existence, whether it was X-ray examination or blood test. Although Su Haichuan did not know Qin Haodong, he still asked with hope, Little brother, how is my son's disease? Can he be saved? Chapter 156. Hearing that his son only had 3 days left to live, Su Haichuan knelt down in front of Qin Haodong and begged, Dr. Qin, please save my son. As long as you can cure him, you can ask for as much money as you want. I'll even go bankrupt. Li Yu also knelt down beside Su Haichuan and begged, Yes, Dr. Qin, as long as you can save my son, I'll work for you for the rest of my life. Not to mention asking my husband to carve that piece of yellow jade for you. Qin Haodong quickly helped them up and said, That's a different matter. I'll treat the patient first, and we'll talk about the rest later. Dr. Qin, my son is in your hands. Although Su Haichuan and his wife stood up from the ground, they still looked at Qin Haodong pitifully. Qin Haodong said, Don't worry, your son will be fine as long as I'm here. Gao Fengwen said, Medical sage, we don't have a good way to treat this kind of parasite disease. How are you going to start? He looked extremely respectful, like a pupil who was humbly asking for advice. Qin Haodong said, Our traditional Chinese medicine pays attention to the right medicine, and it's the same for treating these parasites. Gao Fengwen asked again, Medical sage, how can we treat this kind of parasite disease? The parasites in the patient's body are hermaphrodites, and they like to lay eggs in places with higher temperatures. Although people are warm-blooded animals, the temperature of different parts of the body is still slightly different. This parasite is sensitive to temperature, so it will drill into the internal organs and breed in places with higher temperatures. At the same time, the patient has been having a fever, which is also caused by the parasite. When the body temperature rises during the fever, it will promote the parasite to breed faster, forming a vicious cycle. Since this parasite likes high temperatures, we have to lower the patient's temperature to control the parasite's reproduction and completely force it out of the body. After explaining, Qin Haodong took out his mobile phone and called Lin Momo, asking her to send all the ice in the freezer of the canteen of Lin's group to Su Haichuan's home immediately. It was summer in the south of the Yangtze River, and it was not easy to find too many ice cubes at once. In order to cool down the employees, there were a lot of ice cubes in the canteen of Lin's group. Lin Momo was quite efficient. In less than 10 minutes, Saber and Sword came to Su Haichuan's house with 2 big bags of ice. Qin Haodong asked Saber to take off Su Xiaolong's clothes and carried him into the bathtub in the bathroom. Then he took out a silver needle and pierced it into the acupoint on his chest to protect his heart. After all the preparations were done, Qin Haodong asked Saber to pour the ice into the bathtub. The effect of the ice water was very obvious. 5 minutes later, Su Xiaolong's high temperature had dropped to a normal level. Qin Haodong felt his pulse again and found that the frequency of parasite activity in his body had dropped significantly, and it had stopped reproducing. About 10 minutes later, Su Xiaolong slowly opened his eyes. He was so cold that his lips had turned blue. He was trembling, but he couldn't speak. He could only look at Su Haichuan and his wife with pleading eyes. Obviously, he couldn't bear it anymore. Liu felt sorry for her son and said to Qin Haodong, "Dr. Qin, is this okay? Will something happen to him?" "Don't worry, it's going to be okay," Qin Haodong said, and flicked the end of the silver needle a few times. He sent greenwood genuine qi into Su Xiaolong's body to protect his vitality, so that he wouldn't die because of the low temperature. Then a miraculous scene happened. Su Xiaolong's body temperature continued to drop from 39 degrees Celsius to about 20 degrees Celsius. The body temperature of a normal person was constant. The body had an instinctive temperature regulation function. So even in a cold state, the body temperature could be kept constant. It was incredible that Su Xiaolong's body temperature suddenly dropped to more than 20 degrees. As the body temperature continued to drop, it obviously exceeded the temperature range of the parasite's survival, and they began to die one after another. Some of the stronger ones also desperately tried to escape from the cold host's body. In the end, the parasites gathered together and formed a white line. They slowly rushed out of Su Xiaolong's nostrils. However, the temperature outside was obviously lower than inside the body. As soon as they came out, they fell into the ice water and instantly lost their vitality. This situation lasted for more than half an hour. Qin Haodong constantly added greenwood genuine qi to Su Xiaolong to maintain his vitality. Finally, he felt the pulse again to make sure that all the parasites were dead. Then he asked Saber and Sword to carry him out and put him back on the bed. At this moment, Su Xiaolong's lips were blue and black. His breath was almost inaudible. His whole body was like ice, and he looked no different from a dead person. Su Haichuan and his wife asked nervously, "Dr. Qin, is Xiaolong okay?" Qin Haodong said, "All the parasites have been killed. Most of the disease is cured. He'll be fine later." At this time, Gao Fengwen admired Qin Haodong's medical skills even more. He asked, "Medical sage, although these parasites have been removed from the body, the internal organs have been damaged. How should we recover?" The best way to repair injured human tissues is of course the rejuvenative acupuncture. After that, Qin Haodong took out the needle bag again and began to help Su Xiaolong repair the damaged internal organs with the rejuvenative acupuncture. 10 minutes later, he took back the silver needle and put his right hand on Su Xiaolong's dantian. He used greenwood genuine qi to expel all the remaining cold qi from his body. "All right, get up," Qin Haodong said and patted Su Xiaolong's chest. Under everyone's expectant gaze, Su Xiaolong jumped up from the bed. His face, which was as pale as paper, had regained its rosy color. "Dr. Qin, thank you for saving me." Su Xiaolong knew clearly what had happened outside. He knew that the young man in front of him had saved his life. He jumped out of the bed and knelt in front of Qin Haodong. Seeing their son become lively again, Su Haichuan and his wife were moved to tears. They had suffered too much worry and fear these days. At this time, they also knelt with their son and thanked Qin Haodong profusely. Qin Haodong helped the 3 people up and said, "Get up. I'm a doctor. It's my duty to treat patients and save people." Seeing that Qin Haodong had cured a patient whom he had been helpless about so quickly, Gao Fengwen said with emotion, "Medical sage, I'm completely convinced by your medical skills. I'm afraid that even Hua Tua wouldn't be able to do that if he were alive. After that, Su Haichuan and his wife warmly invited Qin Haodong to the living room. They made tea, poured water, served fruit plates, and tried their best to entertain him. After that, Su Haichuan said, "Dr. Qin, thank you for saving my son. Just tell me how much you want. As long as I can afford it, I won't say no." He said this with full confidence. On the one hand, he wanted to thank Qin Haodong for saving his life. On the other hand, as a carving master, he was indeed very rich. Qin Haodong took his cloth bag and said, "As long as Master Su carves this for me, you can treat it as the medical fee." Su Haichuan's eyes lit up when he saw the yellow jade in the cloth bag. He took it excitedly and said, "I've carved jade for so many years, but I've never seen such a good quality yellow jade. It's really the best." The reason why he could become a master was that he had never regarded carving as a way to make money, but as an artistic pursuit. At this time, he was immediately fascinated by this superb yellow jade. "Master Su, I want to give this jade as a birthday gift in 3 days. I need your help to design it." 3 days? That's a little tight. Su Haichuan thought about it and said, "But don't worry. I'll finish it even if I don't sleep." Qin Haodong discussed the details of the carving with Su Haichuan. After the final plan was finalized, he left with the long knife and the sharp sword. Back in the president's office, Lin Momo asked, "Did you see Master Su? How's it going?" "Of course. I'll give you a satisfactory birthday gift in 3 days." "Really? You're not lying to me, are you?" Lin Momo said incredulously. "Of course. I've done it in person. How could Master Su not give me face? How much is the carving fee? 3 days is too tight. It must cost a lot of money, right?" "I didn't spend a penny." Qin Haodong smiled and said, "Master Su said I'm too handsome, so it's completely free." Lin Momo glared at him and said, "You're not serious." "I'm serious. I'm also serious. Master Su didn't ask me for money. It's completely free." Qin Haodong told her how he had cured Su Xiaolong from beginning to end. Only then did Lin Momo believe him. After the birthday gift was settled, Qin Haodong left Lin's group and returned to Daddy's security company. After a busy night, the 10 stone cutters finally finished processing all the raw stones in the warehouse. The cut jade was piled up in the warehouse, and the quality was very good. Almost every piece would be worth more than 1,000,000 yuan. Qin Haodong nodded with satisfaction. According to the previous agreement, he gave each stone cutters a red packet of 10,000 yuan. However, in the process of giving out the red packets, he erased all the memories of these people with mind manipulating. After the 10 stone cutters left Daddy's security company, they only remembered that they came here once, and no other memories were kept. After all the raw jade stones were cut out, Qin Haodong didn't sell them all at once. In order to prevent accidents, he only sold 20% of them. He asked Nailan Wushuang to negotiate with the purchasing department of Lin's group, and finally made a deal at the price of 200 million yuan. After the transaction was completed, Qin Haodong looked at the long number in his bank account and sighed with emotion. 2 days ago, he was worried about the startup capital of 200 million yuan, but in just a few days, it had doubled. He didn't have much use for the money in his hand, so he directly transferred 400 million to Ma Wenjua. Since he was going to start a business in Shanghai, he should do it big. In Lin's house, Lin Jigao sat on the sofa in the living room listlessly. His whole body was like noodles without any strength. He had taken Qin Haodong's physique-improving pill. Otherwise, he would have been drained by Zhang Xiuying after last night's torment. It was Zhang Xiuying's fault. She put 3 times the amount of drug in Lin Momo's wine glass, and she couldn't ask for help after drinking that glass of wine. As a result, Lin Jigao was in a miserable situation. Next to Lin Jigao, Zhang Xiuying was crying with snot and tears. At this moment, she had become an internet celebrity. The video and photos of her striptease in public yesterday had been posted all over the internet. You could see it on any website. "That's enough, Mom. Don't cry. Nothing serious happened," Lin Pingxiao said with annoyance. Chapter 157. Lin Pingchao's face was so gloomy that it was scary. He had a good plan for Lin Momo, but Qin Haodong came out of nowhere and made his plan fail. Although his heart was full of hatred, he did not lose his mind. He asked, "Did you get in touch with Shui Onbong?" Normally, with the strength of the Shui family in the capital and Shui Onbong's character, even without their help, they should have done something to Lin Momo. However, after it happened, Shui Onbong seemed to evaporate in the air, and there was no more news, which made him feel very strange. I got in touch, but he only said one sentence. He asked me not to bother him anymore, and then he hung up the phone. Speaking of this, Zhang Xiuying angrily scolded, "What a heartless white-eyed wolf. He turned his back on us. It's not the time to ask us to help him." Lin Pingchao turned around twice on the ground, full of doubts. Shui Onbong's reaction was absolutely abnormal, but he could not figure out what had happened. But he had a hunch that it must have something to do with Qin Haodong. No, Qin Haodong was a stumbling block. He must be removed, or he could not touch Lin Momo at all. Zhang Xiuying said, "Son, you are so smart. You must help me get revenge. Find a way to deal with Qin Haodong." "Don't worry, Mom, I'll find a way," Lin Pingchao said. At this time Lin Jigao, who had been silent all the time, said, "Son, it will be your grandpa's 80th birthday in 3 days. You must deal with Qin Haodong before that, or he will make some trouble." Lin Pingchao said gloomily, "I know, I won't let him live well." The next morning, Lin's group went to work as usual. Lin Pingchao stepped to the Human Resources Department and went directly into the office of the Deputy Minister, Guo Xiaomei. "Ayo, Brother Pingchao, what brings you here?" As soon as he entered the door, a coquettish woman came up to him. She not only took Lin Pingchao's arm, but also showed her deep cleavage in front of him. This woman was Guo Xiaomei. She was in her early 30s, but she liked to pretend to be young, and called Lin Pingchao brother. She was somewhat beautiful, and her ability to please men was first class. She was also one of Zhao Zhongchen's lovers. Zhao was fascinated by this woman. He tried his best for her, and with the help of Lin Jigao and his son, Guo Xiaomei became the Deputy Minister of the Human Resources Department. "Nothing, I just came to have a look," Lin Pingchao said, shaking off Guo Xiaomei's arm without a trace. Although he was lecherous, he was not interested in such a slut. He sat on the sofa and asked, "Xiaomei, how's work? Is it?" Guo Xiaomei sat next to Lin Pingchao again, and said in a sweet voice, "Thanks for your concern, Brother Pingchao." Xiaomei, Guo's eyes lit. Guo Xiaomei, Guo, Lin. She Pingchao, and Guo was the Deputy Minister. Haha, I Lin I ha 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 and I Pingchao. The Deputy Minister was just an empty shell. She had no power, so she had been coveting the position of minister for a long time. Lin Pingchao looked at her and said, "As long as you do one thing for me, I'll make you the minister in a few days. You know, I'm the only grandson of the old man. I'll be the president in the future. Of course, everyone knows you're much better than Lin Momo. You'll be the president of the group sooner or later." After flattering him, Guo Xiaomei asked, "Pingchao, what do you need me to do?" "As long as you say the word, no matter if it's a mountain of swords or a sea of flames, this little sister will do it for you." Lin Pingchao said, "You're one of us. I won't hide anything from you. There's a healthcare doctor called Qin Haodong in the group. He's annoying, and I don't like him. As long as you can make him stay there for a few days, the position of the Human Resources Department will be yours." "That's easy. It's just a little doctor. I'm good at this kind of thing. And my cousin just became the deputy captain of the crime squad these days. As long as I say the word, I can make this guy stay there for a year or half a year." Guo Xiaomei looked excited, but she suddenly realized something when she was halfway through. She asked, "Brother Pingchao, do you think this man is the president's boyfriend?" Since the last meeting of the board of directors, the relationship between Lin Momo and Qin Haodong had been publicly reported by the media. It was no longer a secret in the whole group. "Yes, he's the one." That's not good, is it?" Guo Xiaomei was still a little scared. "What? Do you expect Lin Momo to promote you to be the minister?" Lin Pingchao said, "Don't forget, You're with us and Manager Zhao. No matter how you please Lin Momo, she'll see you as a thorn in her side. And it won't be long before I become the president. Why do you care about her? Guo Xiaomei hesitated for a moment. It was true. She could only rely on Lin Pingqiao now. She couldn't count on Lin Momo. Thinking of this, she said, "Well, I'll do it. Don't forget your promise." "Don't worry. I always keep my word. As long as you do it well, I'll definitely arrange you to be the minister." Lin Pingqiao didn't stay any longer. He left Guo Xiaomei's office with a sneer on his face. He knew Guo Xiaomei very well. This woman had climbed into many men's bed with her body. She had a deep relationship with both the police and the underworld. So Guo Xiaomei was the most suitable person to mess with Qin Haodong. Even if she failed, it wouldn't affect him too much. He was the most insidious person. Although he hated Qin Haodong to the extreme, he wouldn't confront him until the last moment. After seeing Lin Pingqiao off, Guo Xiaomei thought about it. The best way to send Qin Haodong to prison was to seduce him, and then ruin his reputation in the whole group. Then she would complain to her cousin. That way, Qin Haodong could stay in prison for at least 2 or 3 years. Thinking of this, Guo Xiaomei left the office and rushed to the infirmary. Qin Haodong was chatting with Zhang Jijie in the office after he went to work. Since the relationship between him and Lin Momo was made public in the group, no female staff dared to harass him. No one dared to steal the president's woman. Even if there were a few people who came to see the doctor, they left after seeing the patient. So the infirmary suddenly became empty. Zhang Jijie was in good health, since he took Qin Haodong's physique-improving pill. He was full of gratitude and respect for Qin Haodong. He came to the office early every day and prepared tea and fruit plates for him. After chatting with Zhang Jijie for a while, Qin Haodong's phone rang. He took a look and found it was Nailan Wuxia. After answering the phone, he asked, "Officer, is there another case?" "Who said that? Can't I call you if there is no case?" Nailan Wuxia said with a little dissatisfaction. "I'm off duty today. I'll treat you to lunch at noon. Do you have time?" It's rare for Captain Nailan to treat me, but it's still a little early. I can't just leave work. Besides, the restaurant hasn't opened yet. Nailan Wuxia said, "Then I'll go to you. We'll leave together at noon." "Okay. I'm in the infirmary of Lin's group. Just come here." Guo Xiaomei thought about her plan in front of the infirmary, then pushed the door and walked in. At this time, Qin Haodong just hung up the phone. Relying on Zhao Zhongchen and Lin Zhigao, she was used to being arrogant in the group. She strode to Qin Haodong and Zhang Jijie, raised her chin and asked, "Who is Qin Haodong?" "I am." Qin Haodong keenly felt a hostility from this woman. He looked at her and said, "Big sister, what can I do for you?" "What? Who are you calling big sister?" Women always paid attention to their age, especially women like Guo Xiaomei who depended on their looks. So Qin Haodong's words seemed to hit her nerve. She immediately opened her eyes wide and shouted, "Sorry, I shouldn't have called you big sister." Qin Haodong looked at Guo Xiaomei and said very seriously, "Hello, miss." Puff. Zhang Jijie just drank a mouthful of jasmine tea. After hearing Qin Haodong's words, he couldn't help but spit it all on Guo Xiaomei. But the position was a little too awkward. It just sprayed under Guo Xiaomei's lower abdomen. She looked like she had peed in her dress. The funniest thing was that there was a golden jasmine flower right there. Guo Xiaomei immediately screamed, "Asshole, my dress was made by a French designer. It's more than 10,000 yuan. You pay me." Zhang Jijie always behaved with his tail between his legs in the company. He didn't dare to offend anyone. Moreover, Guo Xiaomei was the deputy director of the Human Resources Department. There were many people above her, so he always fawned on her. Now he was scared when he heard the dress was more than 10,000 yuan. His monthly salary was only a few thousand yuan. It would take him 2 or 3 months to pay for it, even if he didn't eat or drink. Qin Haodong said carelessly, "A dress is more than 10,000 yuan. Are you blackmailing me? You can tell whoever you want. We won't keep you company." "You." Guo Xiaomei was furious. But she suddenly remembered the purpose of her visit today. She wanted to frame Qin Haodong for molesting her. But she didn't expect that she would be led into a ditch after a few words. and now she was like this. She took a deep breath and calmed down. Then she said to Zhang Jijie, "You get out. Didn't you ask me to pay for the dress? Why did you ask me to get out?" Zhang Jijie asked in surprise. "You get out. I don't need you to pay for it." Guo Xiaomei knew what was important and what was not. Besides, the dress she was wearing was a fake one that she bought on Taobao for a few hundred yuan. The price of more than 10,000 was just for show. "Well, I'm out. You guys talk." Zhang Jijie turned around and was about to leave. "Wait." Qin Haodong stopped him and said, "Dr. Zhang, you'd better stay. If there are only two of us, my reputation will be damaged if there is a scandal." Guo Xiaomei screamed like a cat whose tail was stepped on after he said that. "What did you say? I'm a woman. I'm the one who will suffer losses, okay?" Qin Haodong shook his head and said disdainfully, "There are many kinds of women. A woman like you will affect my reputation if I'm with you." He wasn't joking. He felt the breath of at least a dozen men on Guo Xiaomei since he entered the door. Needless to say, he knew how messy the woman's private life was. "You." Guo Xiaomei was angry, but she couldn't do anything to Qin Haodong. She turned around and said to Zhang Jijie, "Are you going out or not? You have to pay for my dress. I'd better stay for Dr. Qin's innocence." Chapter 158. Guo Xiaomei didn't expect that Zhang Jijie would choose to stand with Qin Haodong. She said angrily, "Fatty Zhang, how dare you not listen to me? Believe it or not, I'll kick you out tomorrow." Since he had made the choice, Zhang Jijie was still very firm. He said, "I can't leave if Dr. Qin doesn't let me." "Well, Fatty Zhang, you don't want to leave, do you? Just wait for me." Guo Xiaomei was so angry that she gritted her teeth. But there was nothing she could do. She turned to Qin Haodong and said, "I don't feel well. Give me a massage." She had made up her mind that as long as Qin Haodong's hands were on her body, she would immediately cry out that Qin Haodong was molesting her. Although Fatty Zhang was in front of her, her cousin was the deputy captain of the crime squad. He would definitely help her. But Qin Haodong seemed to see through her mind. He said very directly, "Who are you? Why should I do it when you want me to?" Guo Xiaomei almost choked and cried, You are the healthcare doctor of the group, and I am an employee of the group. Shouldn't you give me a massage?" "I'm the healthcare doctor. Yes, but not everyone can give me a massage." Qin Haodong looked at Guo Xiaomei from head to toe and said with disdain, "Your eyelids are cut, the corners of your eyes are open, the bridge of your nose is raised, your lips are tattooed, your breasts are big, but they are all silicone, and your butt is padded. You want me to give you a massage with your fake body? What if I break it? You want me to pay for it? Do you think I'm stupid? Bastard, I'm going to kill you." Seeing that Qin Haodong exposed all her secrets, Guo Xiaomei couldn't control her emotions anymore. She rushed to him like a crazy woman. Qin Haodong couldn't let such a crazy woman touch him. He flicked a melon seed in his hand on Guo Xiaomei's knee. Guo Xiaomei felt her knee was weak and she lost her balance. She fell face down. Because she rushed too fast, the fall was hard enough. When she got up again, her face was covered with blood. Her raised nose was crooked, and 2 teeth were out. She looked like a devil. "Bastard, just you wait. I won't forgive you." Although she didn't even touch Qin Haodong's clothes, she had achieved her goal of self-harm. She took out a mobile phone from her bag and quickly dialed a number. "Cousin, come to Lin's group. I'm about to be beaten to death." Guo Xiaomei cried as she spoke. She felt so wronged. Her tears streamed down the thick makeup on her face. Her tears mixed with the nosebleed, which made her look even scarier. After the phone call, he shouted at Qin Haodong with a ferocious face, "Bastard, just you wait. My cousin is here. He will never spare you." Just then, the door opened and Nalan Wuxia, who was dressed in casual clothes, came in. She took off her uniform today and wore a long white dress, which made her look extraordinarily tall. Her fresh and elegant makeup made her look simple and elegant. Qin Haodong was slightly stunned when he saw her. Since he knew Nalan Wuxia, she had always been wearing a uniform. Today, after changing her clothes, she showed a completely different style. Nalan Wuxia looked at Guo Xiaomei, who was sitting on the ground and crying. she asked in surprise. Haodong, what's going on? Qin Haodong said. This woman wanted to blackmail me for a massage. Fortunately, I was smart and didn't fall for it. She hurt herself like this. Nalan Wuxia glanced at the miserable Guo Xiaomei and said, You're so badly hurt. You'd better go to the hospital now. Don't waste your time here. It's none of your business. You're with them. Vixen bitch. Guo Xiaomei saw that Qin Haodong and Nalan Wuxia were very close. Plus she was jealous of Nalan Wuxia's appearance. She suddenly became like a mad dog, spitting out dirty words and saliva. Nalan Wuxia didn't expect that her kindness was misunderstood. She was the young lady of the Nalan family, famous for her hot temper. Even the rich young masters in Jiangnan City didn't dare to mess with her. She would never tolerate Guo Xiaomei, who was a shrew. She suddenly went berserk. Guo Xiaomei was enjoying her scolding. Then she heard Nalan Wuxia's heavy slap on her face. Before she came to herself, punches and kicks poured down like raindrops. She was beaten until she cried and rolled on the ground. Qin Haodong was secretly amused. Of all people, this woman dared to mess with Nalan Wuxia, the female Tyrannosaurus. Wasn't she looking for death? Zhang Jijia was so surprised that he opened his mouth wide. He just saw Nalan Wuxia was like a noble goddess. But in the blink of an eye, she turned into a female Tyrannosaurus and beat the shrew Guo Xiaomei like a dog. At this moment, the door opened again, and several uniformed policemen rushed in. The young policeman in the lead shouted, Who has the guts to bully my cousin? The young policeman's name was Li Hongjun. He used to work in another branch. This time, after Nalan Wuxia was promoted to captain, there was a vacant position for the deputy captain. He tried his best and used a lot of connections to finally become the deputy captain of the crime squad. His relationship with Guo Xiaomei was completely built in bed. He just received a call that Guo Xiaomei was bullied, so he immediately came to support her. He didn't expect to see such a scene as soon as he came in. At this time, Nalan Wuxia was also tired. She stood up and went to the basin next to her to wash her hands. Guo Xiaomei was completely stunned. At this time, her face was colorful and swollen like a pig's head. She looked around for a long time before she found Li Hongjun standing at the door. She rushed to him and shouted, Cousin, this crazy woman beat me. You must help me. Take them in and sentence them to death. Li Hongjun was startled. He took 2 steps back and asked, Who are you? Cousin, don't you know me? I'm Guo Xiaomei. That damn woman beat me like this. You have to avenge me. After saying that, Li Hongjun barely recognized that the pig-headed woman in front of him was Guo Xiaomei. Seeing his lover beaten like this, he waved his hand and shouted to the 2 policemen behind him, Arrest that woman. What made him most angry was that the woman in white didn't take the police seriously after beating Guo Xiaomei. She even slowly washed her hands. That was too arrogant. The 2 policemen answered and came to Nalan Wuxia with handcuffs. At this time, Nalan Wuxia had dried her hands. She raised her hand and tidied her hair. She turned her head and said, Who wants to arrest me? When the policemen saw Nalan Wuxia, they were so scared that their hands trembled. The handcuffs fell to the ground. They never thought that they were going to arrest the captain. What's going on? What are you doing? Didn't you have breakfast this morning? Li Hongjun scolded the 2 policemen. But at this time, he also saw Nalan Wuxia turned around. He was so surprised that he opened his mouth wide and stammered, Captain, why are you here? No wonder he was so shocked. Nalan Wuxia was not only his immediate superior, but also the young lady of the Nalan family. He couldn't compare with her in both official position and status. Guo Xiaomei didn't know what Li Hongjun was thinking. She was still shouting hysterically, Cousin, this woman beat me and that gigolo boy. Arrest them all. Shut up. Li Hongjun slapped Guo Xiaomei's face again. At this time, he already knew that Guo Xiaomei, the stupid woman, had offended Nalan Wuxia. She was afraid that he would be involved. As long as Nalan Wuxia was unhappy, he might lose his position as the deputy captain in a few days. Cousin, why did you slap me? Guo Xiaomei was completely confused. She had just been beaten like a dog by Nalan Wuxia. She finally got her support, but she was slapped again. Li Hongjun shouted in annoyance, Idiot! Don't you know this is Captain Nalan of the crime squad? Apologize to me now. Ah, Guo Xiaomei was confused. How could she apologize when she was beaten like this? Li Hongjun slapped her again and said, "Didn't you hear what I said? Apologize now." Guo Xiaomei realized that she had offended someone she couldn't afford to offend. She said with grievance, "Miss Nailin, I'm sorry." Nailin Wuxia just watched quietly and said nothing. Li Hongjun understood that she was not satisfied, so he quickly said, "And this gentleman?" Guo Xiaomei looked at Qin Haodong with a complicated expression. She had planned to send this man to jail by pretending to molest him. She didn't expect things would turn out like this. She regretted it so much. She shouldn't have listened to Lin Pingchao. But it was too late to regret now. She could only lower her head and apologize again. "Dr. Qin, I'm sorry." Qin Haodong said with a smile, "It's okay. Be careful when you walk in the future. You should find the right person to blackmail." Seeing Guo Xiaomei apologized one by one, Nailin Wuxia said to Li Hongjun, "Is this your cousin?" "Yes, she's my cousin. Captain Nailin, I'm sorry for my poor discipline." Li Hongjun said with a smile, "Your cousin has a bad mouth. Tell her to be careful." Li Hongjun said, "Got it, Captain. She won't do it again." "All right, take her away." Nailin Wuxia waved her hand and said, "Thank you, Captain." Li Hongjun said, and left the infirmary with Guo Xiaomei. They hurried to the nearby hospital. After they left, Nailin Wuxia said to Qin Haodong, "What happened? Who is this woman?" "A stupid woman with no brain. She's here to be cannon fodder." "Cannon fodder? Is someone trying to kill you?" Nailin Wuxia asked. "That's none of your business. I'll deal with it myself." Qin Haodong said, "Let's go eat." "How can we eat with your clothes like this?" When Nailin Wuxia beat Guo Xiaomei, her white dress was inevitably stained with blood and stains. It looked very eye-catching now. "What should we do?" Qin Haodong asked. "I'll go back and change my clothes, then I'll call you," Nailin Wuxia said, and turned to leave the infirmary. Lin Pingchao paced back and forth in his office, fiddling with his cell phone. He was expecting Guo Xiaomei to call him after she was done, but after a long time the phone didn't ring. The door behind him opened and Qin Haodong walked in. Lin Pingchao looked back and saw Qin Haodong. He was a little surprised at first and then said, "Why are you here?" Qin Haodong closed the door and said, "Why can't I be here? Do you think you can kill me with a stupid woman?" Lin Pingchao said, "I don't know what you're talking about." Qin Haodong said, "All right, don't pretend. We all know something. I don't believe you didn't find Guo Xiaomei." Chapter 159. As soon as he finished, he felt a sharp pain on his face. He was slapped by Qin Haodong and fell to the ground. After that, Qin Haodong squatted down and said with a smile, "You're really stupid. I'm not a policeman. Why do I need evidence? I can beat you myself." "What are you going to do?" "I tell you, this is Lin's group. Don't mess around." Looking at the smiling Qin Haodong, Lin Pingchao had a kind of fear from the bottom of his heart. He said and stepped back. "What am I going to do? It seems that you don't understand." Qin Haodong raised his hand and slapped Lin Pingchao's face again. The crisp sound of slap resounded through the whole room. "Boy, how dare you hit me again?" Because he worked in the group, Lin Pingchao did not bring bodyguards. He shouted desperately to the door, "Security! Security!" After he shouted, the door opened and 2 security guards of Lin's group rushed in immediately. Seeing the security guards, Lin Pingchao immediately became spirited. Qin Haodong shouted, "He dared to hit me. Catch him quickly." The 2 security guards did not move, but turned to Qin Haodong and said, "Mr. Qin, what can we do?" Now the security guards of Lin's group were trained by Saber, and they absolutely obeyed Qin Haodong. Qin Haodong said, "This guy always moves. It's not fun to hit him. Press him down for me." "Yes." The 2 security guards answered, and immediately rushed to grab Lin Pingchao. They pressed his body and could not move anymore. "What are you doing? Are you crazy? I'm a director of Lin's group. Let me go." Lin Pingchao yelled crazily, but the 2 security guards ignored him and still held him down. "Master Lin, it's useless even if you shout yourself hoarse. Just enjoy it." Qin Haodong said and moved his body. Then he began to punch and kick Lin Pingqiao with left uppercuts, right uppercuts, left swings, and right swings. The method he used was very special. Every punch on Lin Pingqiao's body would bring a burst of pain, but it did not leave a trace. 5 minutes later, Lin Pingqiao was beaten to death, crying for his parents. Finally, Qin Haodong stopped. He patted his already numb cheek and said, "Recently, you have been making trouble for Momo again and again. It would have been fine if you had used the means of fair competition, but you always like to use this kind of dirty tricks. I'm just teaching you a lesson today. I won't let you off so easily in the future." Lin Pingqiao's eyes were burning with anger. He shouted crazily, "Qin Haodong, you're committing a crime. Wait and see, I'll have you arrested." Qin Haodong smiled and said, "Young Master Lin, didn't you just say that everything needs evidence? You need evidence to say that I hit you." After that, he said to the 2 security guards, "Did you see me hit someone?" The 2 security guards were very cooperative. They shook their heads in unison. "No, Mr. Qin has been happily chatting with Mr. Lin. Did you hear that? No one saw me hit you." Qin Haodong had enough of teasing Lin Pingqiao. He waved his hand to the 2 security guards and said, "Let's go." Seeing Qin Haodong left the room, Lin Pingqiao grabbed the cup on the table and smashed it on the ground, venting his anger. He was the young master of the Lin family, but he was beaten like a dog, without any chance to resist. "Bastard, do you think that's enough? I'll send you to prison." In his view, Qin Haodong had just beaten him so fiercely that there must be a lot of traces left. So he took out his mobile phone to take photos to fix the evidence, and then let the police arrest Qin Haodong. But when he took out his mobile phone, he was dumbfounded. There was no trace of being beaten on his face. He tore off his clothes, and his body was the same. His skin was as good as before, without any bruises. What happened? What the hell was going on? He really couldn't understand why there was no bruise on his face when he was beaten so hard just now. But soon a grim smile appeared on his face. "Do you think that's enough? There are surveillance cameras in my room." Lin Pingqiao was a very cautious person. He had installed several hidden cameras in his office in case of accidents. Today they finally came in handy. He turned on the computer and wanted to retrieve the video just now. But soon he found that there were videos of other times, but the one where Qin Haodong hit him was missing. All the camera records were blank. "Bastard! Bastard!" He raised the computer and smashed it on the ground. At this moment, there was no other way but to roar. At this time in Daddy's security company, Chi Weiner was watching the edited video with relish in a room. She murmured, "It's so satisfying. My hands are itching to watch it." Qin Haodong left Lin's group. When he saw Nailin Wuxiao again, she had changed the white dress. She was wearing a tight black t-shirt and a pair of blue jeans. Such a set of ordinary clothes looked sexy on her curvy figure. After the last meal, Qin Haodong had a very good impression of the dreamy Jiangnan Hotel, so he came here directly with Nailin Wuxia. After entering the hotel lobby, they happened to meet Che Xiaoxiao. She secretly whispered in Qin Haodong's ear, "Handsome boy, did you fall in love with someone else? Or did you come here to eat secretly behind Momo's back?" "If I wanted to eat secretly, why would I come here? We are just ordinary friends," Qin Haodong said and introduced Nailin Wuxia to Che Xiaoxiao. After the greeting, Che Xiaoxiao arranged Qin Haodong to VIP room number 2 again. After closing the door, Che Xiaoxiao took out her mobile phone and dialed Lin Momo's number. "Guess who came here just now?" "You have so many guests, how can I guess?" Lin Momo said lightly. "It's your little lover, who came here for dinner." "Oh," Lin Momo just responded, and did not say anything more. "Don't you care at all? Aren't you curious about who he came with?" Che Xiaoxiao said. "It's just a meal. It doesn't matter who he goes with." "So generous? Don't say I didn't tell you that your little lover came with a beautiful woman. Not only is she beautiful, but her breasts are not smaller than yours at all. Aren't you afraid that something will happen between them?" Lin Momo said, "Don't worry about me. You'd better hurry up and find yourself a man." Che Xiaoxiao obviously did not want to let Lin Momo go. She asked again, "Are you really not jealous?" Lin Momo said, "Why should I be jealous? I just want to know that he is really good to me. Your thinking is really avant-garde. Che Xiaoxiao said again. By the way, did the young master of the Shui family trouble you again? She still had some understanding of Shui Onbong's background. If he kept pestering Lin Momo, it would really be a little troublesome. Haodong has solved his problem. How did he solve it? Che Xiaoxiao asked in surprise. In her eyes, Qin Haodong was just an ordinary college student. She really couldn't figure out how he solved the problem of the young master of the Shui family. Lin Momo said. He rushed back to the capital after teaching him a lesson. I guess he won't come back to Jiangnan in a short time. That's amazing. I didn't know your little lover was so domineering. Che Xiaoxiao said so. But she was full of curiosity about Qin Haodong. He was the young master of the Shui family in the capital. How could he solve it so easily? In VIP room number 2, Nalan Wuxia admired the scenery outside the window and sighed. This place is good. Qin Haodong said. We have to find a better place to celebrate you becoming a captain. Nalan Wuxia said. In fact, it doesn't matter. Whether it's the captain or the deputy captain in my eyes, basically there is not much difference. Being a police officer is just my personal hobby. What she said was true. If she really wanted to be an official, with the background of the Nalan family, she would have already been promoted. She would not be like now, step by step. Anyway, it's a good thing to be promoted. Qin Haodong clinked glasses with Nalan Wuxia, and then drank it up. Nalan Wuxia's cheeks turned red after drinking a glass of wine. She looked at Qin Haodong and said, I helped you teach that shrew a lesson today. Shouldn't you thank me? Qin Haodong said, Aren't we friends? I know you don't care about this. You don't care about others, but I care about you. You have to thank me. I said I would marry you, but you didn't agree. Qin Haodong laughed as he took out a small spirit culturing pill from his pocket and gave it to Nalan Wuxia. Since you have to thank me, this is for you. Nalan Wuxia took the spirit culturing pill and asked, What is this? Is it the one that my sister said you sold Maldini 10 million yuan for? That is called the physique improving pill. Ordinary people can take it, but it doesn't have much effect on warriors. This is called the small strengthening pill. If you take it, your cultivation will improve by at least 1 level. The physique improving pill is made from its leftovers. Nalan Wuxia's eyes lit up. As a warrior, she knew very well how precious the pills that could improve cultivation were. Perhaps even 100 physique improving pills couldn't be exchanged for such a spirit culturing pill. She put away the spirit culturing pill and said with a red face, You gave me such a precious pill. You don't have any ideas, do you? Qin Haodong was slightly surprised and asked, What ideas? Isn't this what you want me to thank you for? Is there nothing else but thanks? Nalan Wuxia's voice was getting lower and lower. She was no longer as fierce as when she beat Guo Xiaomei. Something else? What do you mean? Nalan Wuxia's cheeks were getting redder. She murmured, Have you ever thought about who you want me to be? Unexpectedly, after hearing her words, Qin Haodong immediately said, Are you going to be my sister-in-law? Let me tell you, don't misunderstand. Your sister and I are also friends. We're just partners. She helps me manage the security company, but there is absolutely nothing between us. Sister-in-law. Nalan Wuxia almost choked on her own saliva. He thought to himself, Does this blockhead have a brain? Watching my cheeks swell. Nalan Wuxia blushed. Qin Haodong asked with concern, What's wrong? Are you okay? Don't worry, let's drink. Nalan Wuxia grabbed the glass in front of her and drank it up, as if she wanted to extinguish the depression in her heart with the scarlet wine. In the next few days, everything went smoothly. Ma Wenjua and the new members of the Daddy Security Company had improved their cultivation very quickly. They only needed to wait for a few more days to completely consolidate their cultivation before they rushed to Shanghai. In the blink of an eye, it was Lin Xiaoyan's 80th birthday. Qin Haodong and Lin Momo got ready early and rushed to the manor where the old man lived with the little fellow. Chapter 160. Qin Haodong said, Don't worry. I've already prepared it. Grandpa will be satisfied when I take it out. Lin Momo said, What on earth have you prepared? Can't you let me see it first? Why do you have to make it so mysterious? Qin Haodong said with a smile. There will be no surprise if I take it out first. This is my secret with Tang Tang. I can't tell you for the time being. The little fellow followed and said, Yes, this is my secret with Papa. We can't tell others. We have to give Grandpa a surprise. Lin Momo rolled her eyes at Qin Haodong and said, Well, I'll let you two play with each other. Let's see what you can do. Because Lin Xiaotian was old and liked to be quiet, he built a manor on the outskirts of Jiangnan City and lived there all the time. Although Qin Haodong and Lin Momo came very early, there were already guests coming to the manor when they arrived. Lin Ziyuan and Lin Zhigao arrived one step earlier and greeted the guests together at the door. Lin Pingqiao was also very well dressed today. He wore an expensive famous suit and followed Lin Zhigao, just like the image of the third generation of the Lin family. When he saw Qin Haodong and Lin Momo coming with the little fellow, there was a flash of resentment in his eyes, but soon he greeted them with a smile and said, Sister Tang, you're here. Lin Momo said, Am I late? No, you're not late. I'm busy here. Sister Tang, you can go inside and have a rest. According to Lin Pingqiao's idea, he wanted to hide Lin Momo so that he could leave a better impression in front of many guests. Today's guests were all distinguished guests, and many of them had great influence on Lin Xiaotian. As long as someone praised him, it would definitely increase his impression in the heart of the old man. Lin Momo also knew what he was thinking, but she didn't care and said, I have to take care of Tang Tang. Thank you. After that, she walked into the manor with Qin Haodong. In the hall of the villa, although the old man Lin Xiaotian was 80 years old, he was in good spirits. Today he wore a red tang suit and sat in the middle to accept the greetings of the guests. The old master had been operating in Jiangnan City for many years and had a wide range of friends. Today, there were high-ranking officials and politicians, as well as elites from all walks of life. The more important ones were all seated in the hall, while most of them went to the auditorium on the side. Great-grandfather, I've come to see you. After entering the door, the little fellow happily rushed to Lin Xiaotian. The old man was sitting steadily in the armchair, but when he saw the little fellow, he immediately beamed with joy. He quickly stood up and held her in his arms. Tang Tang, why haven't you come to see me for so long? I miss you so much. I miss great-grandpa too. The little fellow put her arms around the old man's neck, kissed him on the cheek and said, Great-grandpa, Papa and Mama are here too. Your father is here? Lin Xiaotian looked surprised. Yes, Papa is here. He's over there. The little girl pointed to Qin Haodong. Lin Xiaotian glanced at Qin Haodong, and then looked at Lin Momo, with an inquiring look. Grandpa, this is my boyfriend Qin Haodong, and also Tang Tang's godfather. Lin Momo didn't say much, but she introduced Qin Haodong's identity in an all-round way, and also explained the old man's doubts. Qin Haodong stepped forward and said, Hello, old man. My name is Qin Haodong, Momo's boyfriend. Oh. Lin Xiaotian nodded, and began to look at Qin Haodong with keen eyes. After a moment he nodded and said softly, Good boy. When he spoke his face was calm. No one knew whether he really appreciated Qin Haodong, or he was just being polite. After greeting, Qin Haodong and Lin Momo sat next to each other, and the little fellow directly lay in the old man's arms. As time went by, more and more people came to celebrate the old man's birthday. Near noon, there was a commotion outside the door, and two middle-aged men walked into the hall hand in hand. Qin Haodong glanced at them, and saw two old acquaintances. One was Qian Duoduo, the president of the Jiangnan Jade Association, and the other was Guofeng, the director of the Jiangnan Antique Appraisal Center, and an antique appraisal expert. Although these two people were not government officials, they were definitely respected and authoritative figures in the antique and jade circles. Therefore, as soon as they showed up, they were immediately surrounded by a lot of people, following behind them. Lin Xiaotian had 3 hobbies in his life: jade, antiques, and calligraphy. In addition, he had run Lin's group for many years, so he had a very good relationship with Qian Duoduo and Guofeng. They were old friends for many years. Seeing them enter the door, He quickly got up to greet them. After greeting the old man, Qian Duoduo and Guofeng were just about to sit down, but they saw Qin Haodong sitting next to them. Qian Duoduo strode to Qin Haodong and said with a surprised face, "Dr. Qin, you are here too." Guofeng also came up. After taking the Xuanda sensor back last time, he asked many experts to identify it again, and finally confirmed that it was the real Xuanda sensor. Because of this, he admired Qin Haodong's ability to identify antiques. He also came to say hello to Qin Haodong respectfully. Both Qian Duoduo and Guofeng were experts in the industry. They were well-known figures, and deserved to be called the god of wealth. Unexpectedly, such two super-powerful figures were so respectful to this young man, which immediately aroused the curiosity of the guests about Qin Haodong. Lin Xiaotian is also very clear about his two old friends. They are usually arrogant people, but now they value his new grandson-in-law so much, which makes him very curious. He looks at Qin Haodong with a deeper meaning in his eyes. After greeting, Qian Duoduo and Guofeng simply sat together around Qin Haodong and communicated with him about jade and antiques. Qin Haodong didn't know much about these two things. He relied entirely on spiritual qi to identify raw jade stones and antiques. Of course, this kind of thing couldn't be explained clearly, so he basically didn't talk much. It was Qian Duoduo and Guofeng who talked endlessly, but because of this he gave these two people a more unfathomable feeling. Time passed quickly. At 11:30 noon, Lin Momo helped Lin Xiaotian to the birthday banquet hall. There were more than 20 tables in the auditorium, and there was a big longevity character in the middle. As soon as Lin Xiaotian entered the auditorium, the applause immediately rang out. After the guests were seated, the host invited by the Lin family, with a lot of money, began a sensational performance. He introduced the life story of the old man with great emotion. Next, the younger generation of the Lin family congratulated the old man on his birthday and presented their gifts. There were no clear rules for this kind of birthday celebration, but generally speaking, it was from the outside to the inside, from the old to the young. The first to present birthday gifts were the distant relatives of the Lin family, and finally it was the turn of the two brothers, Lin Ziyuan and Lin Zhigao. "Dad, I wish you a long life and good luck in everything." After Lin Ziyuan said that, he asked someone to give him the gift he had prepared. It was a very delicate evergreen. Although it was not expensive, it had a profound meaning. It was the most suitable for the birthday of the old man. Then it was Lin Zhigao's turn. After saying a few auspicious words, he sent a longevity plaque. According to reason, it should be Lin Momo's turn next, but Lin Pingqiao came to Lin Xiaotian first and said, "Grandpa, I wish you a long life, happiness like the East Sea, and longevity like the South Mountain." After that, he waved to the bodyguard behind him, and the bodyguard sent a brocade box more than a foot high. This box was inlaid with gold and jade. It seemed that the packaging alone was valuable, which immediately attracted everyone's attention. They all wanted to see what was inside the box. Lin Pingqiao seemed to arouse everyone's curiosity. He slowly opened the package of the brocade box, and then gently took out a jade Buddha statue about 20 centimeters high from it. The material of this jade Buddha statue was crystal white, delicate and moist and almost flawless. It looked like the fat meat of a fat sheep that had just been cut. The luster was like condensed oil. At first glance, it was a valuable thing. My God, mutton fat jade. This is high-grade mutton fat jade. It's not strange for mutton fat jade, but such a big mutton fat jade Buddha statue is valuable. He deserves to be the young master of the Lin family. He is really attentive to the old man's birthday. How much is such a jade Buddha statue? Hearing the discussion around him, Lin Pingqiao's mouth showed a touch of pride. He held the jade Buddha statue in his hands and sent it to Lin Xiaotian. "Grandpa, it is said that jade can nourish people. If you put this jade Buddha statue in your bedroom, you will certainly live a long life." Lin Zhigao hurriedly followed and said, "Pingqiao has long remembered the old man's birthday. This is the jade Buddha statue he bought at the auction for 12 million yuan, in order to celebrate the old man's birthday." Lin Xiaotian liked jade and antiques most in his life. After seeing this mutton-fat jade Buddha statue, he immediately smiled and took it in his hand. After a while he sighed and said, "Good thing. What a good thing. Ping Chao is really thoughtful." After that, he turned to Qian Duoduo next to him and said, "President Qian, what do you think of this jade Buddha statue?" Qian Duoduo was a leading figure in the jade industry in Jiangnan. He was an expert in jade appraisal. He took the jade Buddha statue in his hand and looked at it for 4 or 5 minutes. Then he said, "It's really good. It's a high-grade mutton-fat jade, and the carving is exquisite and lifelike. It's made by a famous master. If I look at it, the value of this jade Buddha statue should be between 20 million and 30 million yuan. Brother Lin can buy it for 12 million yuan. It's a big bargain." Lin Pingchao said, "It was a small private auction at that time. Other people stopped bidding when they offered this price. Otherwise, I would buy it for Grandpa's birthday, no matter how expensive it is." This guy was not only gloomy, but also good at flattering. He unconsciously expressed his filial piety. After playing with the jade Buddha statue, Qian Duoduo did not return it to Lin Xiaotian. Instead, he handed it to Qin Haodong next to him and said, "Mr. Qin, please help me look at it and see if I've just identified it correctly." After that, everyone's eyes were focused on Qin Haodong. They didn't understand why this young man could make Qian Duoduo so respectful. He was the president of the Jade Association. Could it be that this young man's ability to identify jade was better than his? Qin Haodong took the jade and looked at it from top to bottom. Lin Pingchao said proudly, "How about it? This jade Buddha of mine is passable, right?" His purpose today was to show off at the old man's birthday party and suppress Lin Momo. So he spent so much money. At the same time, he was very confident in this mutton-fat jade Buddha statue. He believed that it would be able to please the old man. Chapter 161. Qin Haodong's move shocked everyone, and some even jumped up in shock. No one understood what the young man was going to do. How could he do such a rude thing at the old man's birthday party? Not to mention others, even Lin Momo, who was sitting next to him, was shocked. Although she knew that Qin Haodong didn't like Lin Pingchao, she didn't expect that he would be so reckless as to break his birthday gift. How could she explain it to her grandfather? Sure enough, Lin Xiaoyan's face was still with a faint smile, but now it was gone, and he looked at Qin Haodong coldly. Qian Duoduo was also extremely embarrassed. He gave the jade Buddha to Qin Haodong, but he didn't expect it to be broken into pieces. He said, "Mr. Qin, what do you mean?" If Qin Haodong didn't hold it and broke it on the ground, it could be excusable, but it was obviously lifted up and smashed on the ground. There was no reason to explain it. Lin Pingchao just came to his senses. He jumped up and shouted to Qin Haodong, "Qin, you pay for my jade Buddha." Qin Haodong ignored him, nor did he answer Qian Duoduo's question. Instead, he said to Lin Xiaotian, "Old man, I broke this thing completely to save your life." As soon as this was said, everyone was shocked again. They didn't understand what Qin Haodong meant. He said to Lin Xiaotian, "If I'm not mistaken, the old man wants to put it in his bedroom because of his love for the jade Buddha?" Lin Xiaotian still didn't speak, but nodded slightly, which was admitted. Qin Haodong continued, "If the old man puts this thing in the bedroom, you will never live for 3 days." At this time, Lin Pingchao was unhappy and said, "Qin, don't talk nonsense. You just saw me giving Grandpa a jade Buddha statue. You were jealous, so you deliberately smashed my things. Everyone in the world knows that mutton-fat jade is used to nourish people. How could it hurt Grandpa's life?" Many of the guests present agreed with Lin Pingchao's statement in their hearts. Otherwise, they couldn't find an explanation for Qin Haodong's strange behavior. Qin Haodong glanced at him and said, "You're right. Good mutton-fat jade can indeed nourish people. But this is not mutton-fat jade, but mutton-fat blood jade." Lin Pingchao cried, "Qin Haodong, you should find a better reason if you want to slander me. Everyone here is a jade expert. Who has ever heard of the bloody mutton-fat jade? Aren't you talking nonsense?" At this moment, Qian Duoduo frowned slightly and hesitated before saying, "I've heard of blood sheep-fat jade, but it's too rare. I've never seen it in all my years in the jade world. Lin Xiaotian asked doubtfully. President Qian, what's the matter with this blood mutton fat jade? Qian Duoduo said. I've only heard my teacher mention it a few times before. He said that although the blood sheep fat jade looks very similar to the sheep fat jade, it will bring disaster to people. But he has passed away now, so I don't know the specifics. Qin Haodong said. Your teacher is not very accurate. The blood sheep fat jade not only brings disaster to people, but also can absorb the owner's blood qi to improve its own quality. It's the legendary blood-nourishing jade. The more blood qi it absorbs, the better the jade looks. With the quality of this blood sheep fat jade, it has absorbed at least 6 or 7 people's blood qi. The reason why it is sold so cheaply is that its previous owners died one after another after their blood qi was absorbed, so it is regarded as an ominous thing. Lin Pingqiao cried. Nonsense, this is the blood sheep fat jade. How can it be the blood sheep fat jade? Lin Zhigao followed and said, That's right. I can't smash my son's jade Buddha statue based on a legend. According to your statement, all the sheep fat jade in the world should be smashed because of the blood sheep fat jade? It's a joke. Even President Qian didn't see any problem. Why do you say that this is the blood sheep fat jade? It's very simple. You can see it at a glance. Qin Haodong said. Everyone knows that the purer the sheep fat jade is, the better the quality. There won't be too many impurities in the jade. The blood sheep fat jade looks no different from the sheep fat jade on the outside. But there are completely different bloodlines inside. After that, he bent down to pick up 2 pieces of the jade Buddha statue from the ground, and showed them to Lin Xiaotian, Qian Duoduo and others. Lin Xiaotian was shocked when he saw that the 2 pieces of broken jade in Qin Haodong's hands were covered with dense blood lines, just like human blood vessels. But there was no problem from the appearance. He started his business in jade, and he knew the character of sheep fat jade very well. He knew that the real pure sheep fat jade would never be like this. At this time, he had completely believed Qin Haodong's statement that this was the blood sheep fat jade. Qian Duoduo bent down to pick up a piece of broken jade from the ground. After looking at it, he said, It's exactly the same as what my master said. There are bloodlines in the blood sheep fat jade. This is the blood sheep fat jade. Qin Haodong said, The blood sheep fat jade is really a harmful thing. Looking at the thickness of the bloodlines, it should have killed many people. The blood sheep fat jade and the sheep fat jade were exactly the same in appearance. Only after smashing them would they find the difference. But this thing was worth millions, or even tens of millions of yuan. Who would be willing to smash it? This was also one of the important reasons why the blood sheep fat jade was extremely rare. Even if it appeared, no one could recognize it. If Qin Haodong had not had a strong spirit, he would not have recognized that it was the blood sheep fat jade, because he did not feel the spiritual qi from it. On the contrary, he felt a blood qi. Lin Pingqiao also saw the blood lines on the broken jade. His face suddenly became pale, but he still quibbled. It's impossible. You must have done something. Otherwise, even President Qian didn't see the problem. How did you know that this is the blood sheep fat jade? Are you better than President Qian? This time, without waiting for Qin Haodong to speak, Qian Duoduo took the initiative to say, You are right. Brother Qin's level of appreciation of jade is indeed far above mine. Guofeng, who had been silent all this time, said, Mr. Qin really has a unique insight. Some time ago, he found the long-lost Xuanda censer in an iron censer. I can't wait to see his insight. Seeing the 2 big men stand up for Qin Haodong, Lin Pingqiao opened his mouth a few times, but he said nothing. The fact is there. The dazzling bloodlines on the jade Buddha fragment prove to everyone that this is the blood sheep fat jade. Qin Haodong is right. Lin Xiaoyan's face became ugly. Today was his 80th birthday. If Qin Haodong had not discovered the secret of this blood sheep fat jade, he would have died in 3 days. He asked, Haodong, what should we do with these broken blood sheep fat jade? The old man's address to Qin Haodong at this time was much closer, with a trace of respect. At the same time, his words were equivalent to determining the nature of this jade Buddha, which was the blood sheep fat jade. Qin Haodong said, "This kind of harmful thing must be smashed and buried deep, or it will harm others." Lin Xiaotian nodded, called 2 family members and said, "You go and get rid of these things. Remember to smash them into pieces, and then bury them deep." The 2 family members nodded, collected all the jade pieces on the ground, and then turned to go out. Seeing that the gift he bought with a lot of money was smashed into pieces by Qin Haodong, Lin Pingqiao was so angry that he gnashed his teeth, but he knew that it was useless to deny it at this time, so he could only hurry up to remedy it. He quickly turned to Lin Xiaotian and said, "Grandpa, I really didn't know that this thing is blood sheep fat jade. If I knew, I would not dare to buy it as a birthday gift for you." Although Lin Xiaotian was just shocked, he also knew that it was not Lin Pingqiao's intention. He waved his hand and said, "Forget it, I know you didn't mean it. Grandpa, I prepared 2 birthday gifts for you today. Although that thing was thrown away, I still have one." Lin Pingqiao secretly rejoiced that he was well prepared, or he would really lose face today. He turned back and waved to the bodyguard, who immediately sent a painting tube. For the 80th birthday of the old man today, Lin Pingqiao did make full preparation. Originally, he wanted to use the Jade Buddha to get everyone's praise, and then make a climax with the painting in his hand. So the value of this painting was far higher than that of the Jade Buddha. He bought it from a rich businessman in Hong Kong for 20 million. Of course, he didn't want to give the gift to the servant and put it away quietly. How could he show off in that way? So Lin Pingqiao directly asked someone to move a table, and then carefully took out an ancient painting from the painting tube and slowly spread it on the table. "Grandpa, in order to congratulate you on your 80th birthday, this is the authentic work of Wu Daozi specially prepared by me. Please appreciate it." The guests present immediately became noisy again and began to talk about it. The authentic work of Wu Daozi, that is the art sage. This painting must be worth a lot of money, right? If it is really Wu Daozi, it is more than 1,300 years old. It is definitely a treasure in antiques. The old man Lin Xiaotian's 3 hobbies were jade, antiques and calligraphy and painting. The gift prepared by Lin Pingqiao was completely to his liking. But the jade was smashed just now. Now the remaining birthday gift was a combination of antiques and calligraphy and painting. It was really a good thing. He stood up, came to the table, and began to seriously appreciate the ancient painting on the table. After watching quietly for 2 minutes, the hall became silent. The old man's face began to look better and better. The unhappiness brought by the blood sheep fat jade had slowly dissipated. "It's really good. This is the authentic work of Wu Daozi." The old man nodded with satisfaction and said. Qian Duoduo also came over and seriously appreciated the ancient painting. He also nodded and said, "This is the legendary 100 Lotus picture of Wu Daozi. After more than 1,000 years, it is still vivid. Only the art sage has this kind of skill. Lao Guo, look at this painting quickly. Is this painting made by Wu Daozi?" Although Qian Duoduo also dabbled in antiques, his attainments were definitely not as good as Guofeng's, so he called him over. In terms of ancient paintings, the director of the Antique Appraisal Center was the authority. As an antique appraisal expert, Guofeng took his tools with him. First, he took out a pair of white gloves and put them on. Then he took out a magnifying glass and began to look at it carefully. This time, after watching for 5 minutes, he slowly raised his head and said excitedly, "Authentic, this is absolutely authentic. The authentic work of Wu Daozi, the art sage." In the upper right corner of this ancient painting, there were 3 big characters, 100 Lotus picture, and Wu Daozi's personal seal was stamped below. There was no doubt that it was made by Wu Daozi in both the style and the age of the painting. Qian Duoduo was excited. He did not forget to turn back to Qin Haodong and said, "Mr. Qin, look at this painting." In the middle of his words, he could not help but think of the Jade Buddha that had just been smashed into pieces. He immediately stopped and did not dare to say anything. Chapter 162. Now the whole auditorium was in an uproar. No one understood what the young man was going to do. He had just smashed a jade Buddha statue, and now he tore the authentic work of Wu Daozi. How could he let people live? Qin, I'll kill you. At this time, Lin Pingchao's heart collapsed. The jade Buddha statue worth 12 million was smashed just now, because it was blood mutton fat jade. But now the authentic work of Wu Daozi, which was bought for 20 million yuan, was torn. How could he not feel distressed? The strong anger made him lose his mind for a short time. He was about to rush to Qin Haodong with his teeth and claws. Fortunately, he was stopped by Lin Zhigao and Lin Ziyuan. Lin Xiaoyan's face darkened again. He also felt that Qin Haodong had done too much. The key was that this was the authentic work of Wu Daozi. He had been looking for it for many years, but he had not found it. Now his grandson sent it to him, but it was torn in half. Guofeng looked at Qin Haodong in surprise and asked, "Dr. Qin, what do you mean? Is there something wrong with this painting?" Qin Haodong said calmly, "There is no big problem. It's just a fake painting. It's disrespectful to give it to the old man as a birthday gift today. So I tore it off." "Fake painting? Impossible. I have identified it. It is indeed the lotus painting left by Wu Daozi himself," Guofeng said incredulously. Lin Pingchao calmed down a little, but he still shouted angrily, "Qin Haodong, don't talk nonsense. This is definitely the authentic work of Wu Daozi. Today you must pay for my painting." Qin Haodong said disapprovingly, "If I say it's fake, it's fake." Lin Pingchao cried, "Why? Are you more accurate than Director Guo's identification?" Guofeng also said, "Mr. Qin, you are really too reckless. I have identified it. It is absolutely authentic. And even if it is a fake painting, it has reached the realm of being authentic. It is definitely worth more than 10 million yuan." After listening to Guofeng, Lin Pingchao suddenly became more confident and said, "That's right. I bought this painting for 20 million yuan. You must pay for it." Qian Duoduo saw that Qin Haodong was in trouble and said, "Mr. Qin, you said that this painting is fake. Do you have any basis?" "There's no basis." As soon as he said this, the auditorium exploded again. Without any evidence, he casually took away an ancient painting worth 20 million yuan. Was this person crazy? Lin Pingchao's lungs were about to explode. Qin Haodong was obviously making fun of him. But before he could speak, Qin Haodong said lightly, "Because this is what I painted." Although Qin Haodong's tone was calm, and his voice was not loud, almost every word he said today was like a bomb, causing another uproar in the auditorium. Who is this young man? There should be a limit to boasting. He actually said that Wu Daozi's authentic work was painted by him. Director Guo said that the painting is authentic. He actually said that he painted it. Does he think he is the art saint Wu Daozi? Arrogant, too arrogant. I heard that he is the new boyfriend of the first Mississippi Momo is too careless. You can't just look at a person's face. Not only did the others not believe it, even Guofeng said in surprise, "What? Mr. Qin, you said you painted this? Impossible. This is not only Wu Daozi's brush, but also obviously an ancient painting. You are only in your 20s. How could it be painted by you?" Qin Haodong, there should be a limit to boasting. If this painting is painted by you, I will not only not need you to pay, but also give you 20 million yuan. The reason why Lin Pingchao said this was that he was mad by Qin Haodong, and he wanted to trample on Qin Haodong's face. Now attacking Qin Haodong was equivalent to attacking Lin Momo. Qin Haodong said, "You don't believe it, right? Then I'll prove it to you now." He turned to Lin Xiaoyan and said, "Old man, can I make a painting on the spot? It can be regarded as a birthday celebration for you." Lin Pingchao said, "Are you kidding? It will take a master a day or two to finish such a painting. Can Grandpa's birthday be delayed?" Qin Haodong said, "It's not so troublesome. It's only 5 or 8% to paint such a painting." "What? How is this possible?" Although Guofeng and Qian Duoduo knew that Qin Haodong was a master, they were also surprised and opened their mouths wide. They couldn't believe what he said was true. It would take 2 or 3 hours for a painting master to paint. Lin Xiaotian looked at Qin Haodong with interest. He waved to his family next to him and said, "Bring me the pen and ink in my study." He liked painting and calligraphy, and he often painted one in his daily life. so he had all the tools for painting at home. Soon his family brought the paper, pen, ink and other tools used for painting, and put them on the table. Under everyone's gaze, Chin Haodong came to the table. He first took out a brush from the pen holder, looked at it, and nodded with satisfaction. Then he took out another brush, and pinched it in the palm of his left hand. The two brushes were covered with ink at the same time. What is he going to do? Is he going to paint with two brushes? Lin Pingqiao said directly with disdain. You are a fool. You can't paint well with one brush. How can you take two? Isn't it shameful enough? Chin Haodong didn't pay attention to him at all. After taking a deep breath, he stretched out both of his hands. The two brushes seemed to be alive, and kept flying on the drawing paper in front of him. The originally empty white paper began to slowly have ink marks. Is this the left-right dragon? Although Lin Xiaotian was not as good as a master in painting and calligraphy, he also had considerable attainments. He immediately recognized Chin Haodong's technique. Qian Duoduo couldn't help asking, Mr. Lin, what is the left-right dragon? Lin Xiaotian said, ordinary people paint with a brush. First, they outline the general shape, and then fill in the picture carefully. It's the same as building a house. First, they build the framework, and then they do it bit by bit. But there are also defects in this way. Although the foundation is solid, it's not fast enough. Guofeng also dabbled in painting. He nodded and said, it's true. Lin Xiaotian continued. In order to increase the speed of painting, some powerful masters of painting and calligraphy created this way of painting with the left-right dragon. As the name implies, the left-right dragon is to divide one's attention, draw with both hands at the same time, starting from the two ends of the paper. There is no need to conceive a frame, no need for any embellishment and polishing. The whole painting completely exists in the painter's heart, constantly advancing to the middle. When the two strokes touch, the painting is finished. In this way, the efficiency of painting can be more than doubled, but it is extremely difficult. First of all, the whole painting should be clear in mind. Secondly, the mind should be divided into two. There can be no problems. Finally, the color and tone should be used very skillfully, so that there can be no mistakes when the two sides of the picture are connected. This is a very clever way of painting. I have only heard of it before, but I have never seen such a master. Speaking of this, Lin Xiaotian shook his head with an incredible face. Guofeng said, I have heard of the left-right dragon, but this painting method requires absolute confidence in the painting, and it can't be done without decades of painting and calligraphy skills. Lin Pingqiao was confused. He knew nothing about the way of painting. He didn't expect that Chin Haodong, who he had just laughed at, used such a powerful way of painting. He couldn't help blushing. However, he still didn't believe that Chin Haodong could draw Wu Daozi's painting. If anyone could imitate it casually, the art sage would not be the art sage. Guofeng said again. The left-right dragon is really powerful, but the painting on both sides is too good. If it can't be perfectly connected, it's nonsense. It's the same as building a house. Both sides use superb skills. No matter how strong you build it, it's a waste if it can't be connected in the end. After the explanation of the two masters, everyone's attention was focused on Chin Haodong, looking forward to the moment when he was finally connected. Chin Haodong's technique was extremely fast. His two hands kept moving on the drawing paper, as if he didn't have to think. After 3 or 4 minutes, the painting on both sides was almost finished, and the two brushes began to connect. The eyes of the people around were fixed on Chin Haodong's two hands, especially Lin Pingqiao, who couldn't wait to put his two eyeballs on the drawing paper, hoping that Chin Haodong would make mistakes. But in the end, he was disappointed. Chin Haodong's two brushes were skillfully joined together, and a lotus picture was perfectly presented in front of everyone. And just at the moment when he threw out the brush, 5 minutes had passed. Amazing, it's really amazing. He painted a lotus picture in such a short time. Who is this young man? He turned out to be a master of painting. Was that painting really painted by him? Impossible, it's impossible. No matter how good it is, it's a new painting. How can it become an ancient painting? In everyone's discussion, Guofeng and Qian Duoduo took the torn lotus picture and carefully compared it with the one Qin Haodong had just drawn. After a full 5 minutes, the two of them raised their heads again. Perfect, it's really perfect, Qian Duoduo said to Qin Haodong. Brother Qin, the person I admire most in my life is you. I really don't know what you can't do. You painted a lotus picture in such a short time. And it's exactly the same as the original one. I can't see any difference. Guofeng also said. Indeed, it's so perfect that there's no flaw. Lin Pingqiao cried. Even if it's a good painting, it's not an ancient painting. The one I just drew is the authentic work of Wu Daozi. The two paintings can't be compared at all. Guofeng sighed and said, Yes, Mr. Qin, although I admire your painting skills, it can't prove that the painting was drawn by you. Not to mention anything else, you can see that the two pieces of paper are at least thousands of years apart. And the color of the ink, the newly painted painting, is completely different from the ancient painting. Qin Haodong smiled and said, Don't worry, there's still the last procedure. In order to cultivate his mind and play life in the cultivation world, he had been a painter, a fortune teller, and even a beggar. So he was very proficient in these 3 ways and 9 streams of magic. Moreover, the way he made ancient paintings was not comparable to ordinary people at all. Emperor Green Wood could control all things of the wood attribute. Qin Haodong rolled up the painting he had just drawn and held it in his hand. He stroked it from top to bottom with his right hand. The greenwood genuine qi in his palm changed the color of the painting paper and the color of the ink in an instant. 10 seconds later, like a magic trick, he spread the painting on the table again and said to Guofeng, Director Gua, look at it again this time. Guofeng stood there in a daze. The lotus picture in front of him was exactly the same as the one he had just torn off. From the age of the painting paper to the color of the ink, there was no difference at all. If it weren't for the lotus picture that had just been torn off, he would have thought it was a dream. Chapter 163. When Guofeng raised his head again, Lin Pingqiao said eagerly, Director Gua, please tell everyone that this painting is fake. Guofeng said with a wry smile, I can't help you. I really can't see the difference between these two paintings at my level. If I hadn't seen Mr. Qin draw this painting with my own eyes, I would have identified it as the authentic work of Wu Daozi. Restless. The whole audience was restless. Everyone could no longer remain calm. Who was this young man? Even Guofeng, who was an antique appraisal expert, was unable to determine whether it was real or fake. This ability was simply heaven-defying. At the same time, it also proved to everyone that Lin Pingqiao's painting was not the authentic work of Wu Daozi, but Qin Haodong's painting. Qin Haodong picked up his new painting of lotus and said to Lin Xiaotian, Mr. Lin, if you don't mind this painting, I'll give it to you as a birthday gift. Lin Xiaotian said with a smile, Then I'll accept it. Although this painting is not made by Wu Daozi, it is of great significance to me. Young man, you are young and promising, and your future is limitless. Indeed, although this painting was painted by Qin Haodong in less than 5 minutes, if it was taken to the auction, it could definitely be sold for more than 10 million yuan. However, the old man did not want to sell it. He had just been impressed by Qin Haodong's unique skill and wanted to keep this painting as a souvenir. Lin Pingqiao was gnashing his teeth. What was going on? He had carefully prepared 2 birthday gifts. The jade Buddha statue was smashed by Qin Haodong as soon as he took it out. Now the ancient painting that he bought with 20 million yuan was torn in half and became a gift in the blink of an eye. It was such a bully, he said to Qin Haodong angrily. Even if this painting is fake, you have to prepare it yourself if you want to give Grandpa a birthday gift. Don't use my things. Qin Haodong said with a smile. Everyone is watching here. It's obvious that I just painted it. How did it become your thing? That's not good. You just tore my painting. Whether it's real or fake, this one is my compensation. Lin Pingqiao turned to Lin Momo and said, Sister Tang, it's Grandpa's 80th birthday today. Don't tell me you didn't prepare a birthday gift. The two gifts he had prepared were ruined. He hoped that Lin Momo could not come up with anything decent, so that he would look better. Lin Momo stepped forward and said, "Today is Grandpa's birthday. As his granddaughter, of course, I have prepared a gift." After that, she looked at Qin Haodong and said, "Where are the gifts we prepared for Grandpa? Hurry up and take them out." At this time, everyone's eyes were focused on Qin Haodong. They were very curious about what good things this young man could prepare for the old man, who had ruined two gifts from Lin Pingqiao. Even Lin Xiaotian himself looked at Qin Haodong with burning eyes. The boyfriend found by his granddaughter really brought him too many surprises and shocks today. He wanted to see if he could have a shocking performance next. The gift has already been prepared. After that, Qin Haodong waved to the little fellow sitting next to him and said, "Tang Tang, bring up the gift for great-grandpa." "Coming, Papa." The little fellow was looking forward to this moment. After hearing Qin Haodong's call, she immediately ran to Lin Xiaotian, with a big mahogany tray in her arms. The tray was covered with a big red cloth, and no one knew what was under it. "Great-grandpa, the gift is here." The little fellow cried as she ran. "This is the gift that Papa, Mama, and I prepared for her grandpa." Her cute and innocent look caused the guests present to burst into laughter. At the same time, everyone was curious about what was under the red cloth. Lin Momo was also very curious about what gifts Qin Haodong and his daughter had prepared. She followed the little fellow to Lin Xiaotian, and then uncovered the red cloth on the tray. She suddenly froze there, with a look of astonishment. "Great-grandpa, Tang Tang wishes you a long life." After that, the little fellow raised the tray with her two chubby little hands, and sent it to Lin Xiaotian. Now everyone saw what was in the tray. After a slight shock, the audience burst into laughter. They saw a golden roast chicken in the mahogany tray. "What's going on? It's the first time I've seen a roast chicken as a birthday gift. What's this young man doing? The gift wasn't given by that young man alone. Didn't you hear it just now? It's on behalf of the young lady of the Lin family. It's so embarrassing. A dignified CEO only prepared a roasted chicken as a birthday gift." Lin Pingqiao's reaction was the most exaggerated. He laughed and said to Lin Momo, "Cousin, it's Grandpa's 80th birthday. You just gave him such a roast chicken. It's really funny. Can you be more stingy?" He finally caught a chance to turn over. He didn't want to let it go. He turned to Qin Haodong and said, "Boy, is your family doing cooked food? It's the first time I've seen a roast chicken as a gift in my 20s. Qin Haodong looked at him coldly and spat out 3 words. "You're blind." "Boy, who are you talking about?" Lin Pingqiao cried with confidence. "Am I wrong? Everyone has seen it. If it's not a roast chicken, what is it?" Qin Haodong shook his head and said, "Anyway, your family is also a jewelry family. Grandpa Lin has been in the jewelry business all his life. I didn't expect that he would have such a blind grandson like you." Hearing this, everyone's attention was once again focused on the tray in the little fellow's hand. Could it be that there was something special in this roast chicken? At this time, Qian Duo and Grandpa Lin's faces changed. They looked at the roast chicken on the tray with a dignified expression. But Lin Pingqiao didn't see anything unusual. He continued to cry, "Boy, don't play tricks. Do you think I haven't seen roast chicken? Stop it." Grandpa Lin glared at Lin Pingqiao with dissatisfaction. Then he held the roast chicken in his hand with a hot face and murmured, "Wonderful. It's really wonderful. It's simply wonderful." "Grandpa." Lin Pingqiao was a little dumbfounded. His grandpa had eaten all kinds of delicacies. How could he be so obsessed with the roast chicken? Qian Duo looked at the roast chicken excitedly and said, "Grandpa, can I have a look at it?" Of course. After Lin Xiaotian finished speaking, he reluctantly sent the roast chicken in his hand to Qian Duo. Qian Duo took it and looked at it over and over again. He looked at it as if he was appreciating a rare treasure. Many people under the stage were full of curiosity. What was wrong with these two people? Hadn't they eaten roast chicken? After admiring it for 2 minutes, Qian Duoduo said with admiration, I have seen a lot of treasures for so many years, but I have never seen such a large piece of yellow jade. And the quality is so high. There are no impurities at all. In addition, the carving is amazing. At first glance, I can tell that it is made by a great master. A rare treasure coupled with a great master's work is absolutely a rare treasure. A rare treasure. After that, he carefully put the roast chicken back on the tray in front of Lin Xiaotian and said, Grandpa Lin, you are so lucky to find such a good grandson-in-law. Yellow jade? Only then did Lin Momo realize that this roast chicken turned out to be carved from that piece of yellow jade. But this carving technique, this creativity, was simply too beyond everyone's imagination. No wonder everyone thought that this was just a roasted chicken. Only Qian Duoduo and Old Master Lin, who had dealt with jade for their entire lives, could barely recognize it. At this time, Qin Haodong took Lin Momo's hand and came to Lin Xiaotian and said, Mr. Lin, yellow represents wealth. Yellow jadeite is called golden jadeite in our industry, and chicken means great luck. This jade chicken made of yellow jadeite is a gift prepared by me and Momo for your 80th birthday. I wish you good health and eternal wealth. At this time, the guests under the stage realized that this was not a real roast chicken, but a roast chicken made of precious yellow jade. Many of Grandpa Lin's relatives and friends were related to the jade industry. Naturally, they knew the value of yellow jade. With such a precious yellow jade and such a good idea, no wonder Qian Duoduo repeatedly marveled at this rare treasure. This was definitely the most precious birthday gift. Oh my God, how much does such a big piece of yellow jade cost? I've been in the jade business for so many years, but I've never seen such a big piece of yellow jade. It's estimated that it will cost hundreds of millions. My God, who is this young man? How can he be so generous? It's really a great honor for Grandpa Lin. Lin Pingchao was completely dumbfounded. Just now he was jumping and laughing at Qin Haodong. He didn't expect that in the end. He didn't see that this roast chicken was carved with yellow jade. As the third generation of a jewelry family, it was really shameful. At this time, Old Master Lin was already beaming with joy. He said to Qin Haodong and Lin Momo, This is the best gift I have ever received. You two are very thoughtful. There was another uproar under the stage. Grandpa Lin's words meant that he approved the marriage between Qin Haodong and Lin Momo. Guofeng stared at the roast chicken for a long time, and then said to Qian Duoduo, Brother, how much is this roast chicken worth? It's so cute. I want to have one if I have a chance. Qian Duoduo said with a wry smile, Brother, you really think too much. It's a blessing for us to have a look at such a rare treasure. How can we afford it? What, you can't afford it? Guofeng showed a surprised look. As an expert in the antique industry, he was extremely rich, at least hundreds of millions of assets. So when he bought Qin Haodong's Xuanda censer, he did not hesitate to take out 30 million yuan. Unexpectedly at this time, Qian Duoduo said that he could not afford this roast chicken. People under the stage were also curious. They had been guessing how much this roast chicken was worth, so they all looked at Qian Duoduo, expecting him to give an answer. Qian Duoduo carefully held the jadeite roast chicken in his hand again, and then said, Not to mention anything else, the material of this jadeite roast chicken is definitely the best among the yellow jadeites. It has a bright color, is as smooth as grease, and has no flaws. The value of the raw materials alone should be between 200 million and 300 million yuan. Now with such good creativity and knife skills, this jade collection will cost at least 400 million yuan. Brother, can you afford it? This, Guofeng suddenly became embarrassed. If he sold all his assets, he might have 400 million yuan, but in terms of liquidity, he didn't even have 100 million yuan. The others were excited again. A birthday gift worth 400 million yuan. This was really a big deal. Chapter 164. Lin Pingqiao was really irritated. In order to please Lin Xiaotian and change his image in the old man's mind, he carefully prepared 2 gifts, but he did not expect that they were all ruined by Qin Haodong. Now it seemed that even if his 2 things were intact, they could not compare with the jade chicken sent by Lin Momo. The value was more than 10 times lower. In this way, his position in the old man's mind would not change. On the contrary, it would not be as good as before. It was because of this that he decided to risk it all and shout. Lin Zhigao quickly stopped him and scolded. Today is your grandfather's birthday. What are you shouting for? Is it fair or not? Lin Pingqiao did not restrain himself at all, still shouting. Unfair, this is unfair. Everyone became silent. Lin Xiaotian looked at Lin Pingqiao with a gloomy face and asked, What do you think is unfair? Lin Pingqiao said, My cousin is the president of Lin's group, in charge of the whole group's resources. Of course she can choose all kinds of good things, so she can find such a high-quality yellow jade, and find such a skilled master to carve it. If I were the president of the group, I would definitely prepare a better gift for Grandpa. After listening to his words, Lin Xiaotian's face eased a little, and he said, The value of the gift is not important. I know you have the filial piety. There is no fair or not. Many people thought that Lin Pingqiao would stop when it was good, but he said again, Grandpa, this is unfair. I am also a descendant of the Lin family, and I am the only male of the 3rd generation of the Lin family. In terms of age, I am only 1 year younger than my cousin. In terms of education, I am not inferior to her at all. In terms of ability, I am not inferior to her. Why should she be the president? Why can't I be the president of the Lin family? How dare you? Lin Xiaotian slapped the table and said angrily, When it is your turn to talk about family affairs. Lin Pingqiao was extremely afraid of the old man, but today he made up his mind and cried, Grandpa, I just want a fair competition. I just want to compete with Sister Tang, to see who is more suitable to be the president of the Lin family. Lin Xiaotian was about to get angry. An old man in his 60s next to him said, Elder brother, in fact, Pingqiao is right. A few years ago, he was still young, and it doesn't matter if he is not the president. But now Pingqiao is old, and there should be a fair competition. The old man who spoke was Lin Xiaotian's cousin Lin Xiaofeng. He was also a direct descendant of the Lin family, and had a great say in the Lin family. Then another old man said, That's right. I think Pingqiao is quite capable. We should give him a chance to show off. After that, the direct descendants of the Lin family, who were of the same generation as Lin Xiaotian, began to speak for Lin Pingqiao. Finally, an old man in his 80s stood up and said tremblingly, Xiaotian, no matter what, Pingqiao is also a man of our Lin family. Although Momo is also good, she is a woman after all. She will get married sooner or later. I think you'd better give Pingqiao a chance at the right time. Lin Xiaotian could ignore what others said, but this old man was so senior that he had to call him 7th uncle. He was the only one in the previous generation of the Lin family. By now, he had seen that all this was planned by Lin Pingqiao, or there would not be so many people standing up on this occasion. Lin Xiaotian was suddenly in a dilemma. As the current master of the Lin family, he must be fair and just. Now so many people stood up to speak for Lin Pingqiao. If he did not listen, it would be arbitrary and unfair. If he forced him to change his mind, not only would the dignity of the master be offended, but it would also be unfair to Lin Momo, who had always been diligent. Just when he was in a dilemma, Lin Momo stood up and said, Grandpa, I also hope to compete fairly with my cousin. If Pingqiao is really capable of being the president, I'm willing to quit. All right then. Lin Xiaotian sighed. Lin Momo could take the initiative to propose a fair competition, which was totally sensible, which made it much easier for him to be the master of the family. He said to Lin Pingqiao, How do you want to compete? Lin Pingqiao was overjoyed when Lin Xiaotian agreed. What he did just now was not impulsive, but had been planned for a long time, including those elders of the Lin family, who just spoke for him. They were all persuaded by him in advance, and some even sent very heavy gifts. Seeing that he had succeeded, he controlled his excitement and said, "Our Lin's group has always been mainly engaged in the jade industry. I hope that my cousin and I can open a store without relying on the strength of Lin's group. At that time, the one who makes the most profit will be the most suitable master of the Lin family." Lin Xiaofeng said, "Brother, this is a good idea. If you can run a jade store well, you can prove that you can lead the whole Linji group well." Lin Xiaotian turned to Lin Momo and said, "Momo, what do you think of this?" "I think it's good." Lin Momo agreed without hesitation. During this time, she had had enough of Lin Pingchao's constant harassment. She hoped that she could completely cut off Lin Pingchao's hope in this way. If Lin Pingchao could really win, she would be willing to give up the position of president. Then carry out according to this plan, but for the sake of fairness, the rules still need to be refined. Lin Xiaotian thought for a moment and said, "Our Lin family has recently opened a new branch in Jiangnan City. It hasn't opened yet. For the time being, we will give it to you as a platform for fair competition. The store will be divided into 2 parts from the middle. Each of you can run your own jade industry there." The time limit is 8 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock in the evening. The one with the highest turnover will be the winner. From today on, you go back to prepare, and the store will officially open in 3 days. Lin Xiaofeng nodded and said, "This is the fairest way, but we need a fair person to collect the money in the store, so as to avoid disputes on the turnover." According to his idea, he wanted to be the notary, but Lin Xiaotian had already seen that his cousin was partial to Lin Pingchao, so he didn't give him the chance at all. He said, "The problem of the notary is very easy to solve. There is only one cashier in the store, and the goods sold on both sides will be collected uniformly. Zhigao and Ziyuan will supervise the cashier together, so there will be no problem." His idea was really clever. Although Lin Ziyuan and Lin Zhigao were brothers, they naturally preferred their own children, so the 2 of them would be at the cashier, and naturally there would be no difference of a penny. Lin Ziyuan said, "Although this method is good, there is still a problem. That is, how to prevent the 2 sides from using their own money to buy their own goods, so it becomes a competition of 2 people's financial resources, and no one can see whose sales ability is stronger." Lin Pingchao's heart suddenly jumped. He did have such a plan before. Even if he couldn't compare with Lin Momo in sales, he would be able to win when he used his own money to buy his own goods. He didn't expect that his uncle would say it first. Lin Xiaotian thought for a moment and said, "This is easy. All the sales of both sides on that day will be collected by the group. If they have money and are willing to donate to the group, then I will be more willing to accept it. As the saying goes, old ginger is spicier." Although this method couldn't 100% eliminate fraud, it had a great restrictive effect. Think about it. No one could take a lot of money out of their pocket, and finally all the money went into the pocket of the group. Speaking of this, he turned to Lin Momo and Lin Pingchao and said, "Do you have any objection?" This opportunity was fought for by Lin Pingchao with all his efforts, so naturally he would not object. He quickly said, "I have no objection." Lin Momo said, "I will listen to Grandpa." Things came to an end here, and then the birthday party began to continue. In the afternoon, Lin Xiaoyan's birthday party ended, and Lin Momo and Qin Haodong returned to Lin's villa together. After the little fellow entered the door, she rode on Damao and ran out to play. Lin Ziyuan said to Lin Momo, "Momo, in fact, you can completely refuse today. Grandpa will certainly not force you." Lin Momo said, "I know Grandpa will not force me, but I don't want to always be said to rely on Grandpa's protection to sit in the position of president. I want to prove myself. And recently my cousin has been making trouble for me again and again. I also want to let him completely give up through this matter. But what if you are going to lose?" Lin Ziyuan asked. "If I lose, I lose. In fact, it is really tiring to sit in the position of president. It is not bad to give it up. As long as you can accept it, no matter what you choose, Dad will support you." Lin Ziyuan then went upstairs. leaving only Qin Haodong and Lin Momo in the hall. Seeing his father-in-law leave, Qin Haodong took Lin Momo's hand and said, "Momo, how was my performance today?" "Very good. Thank you for preparing such a good gift for Grandpa." Lin Momo kissed Qin Haodong on the cheek and said, "This is your reward." Then she said, "You taught Lin Pingqiao a terrible lesson today. You didn't leave a gift of more than 30 million yuan. He is about to go crazy. He always wants to steal your limelight. No one can bully my woman at will." Qin Haodong said, "But Lin Pingqiao is really scheming. Although he is angry, he is still far from being mad. Everything that happened later was prepared by him long ago." Lin Momo asked with a little surprise, "Do you mean that he and Grandpa prepared to compete with me in advance? It's not an impromptu idea?" Qin Haodong said, "Of course not impromptu. Otherwise, there would not be so many people standing up for him. These people must be his helpers in advance." Lin Momo still did not believe it and asked, "Can he? If he had prepared before, why did he try so hard to send gifts to Grandpa? Couldn't he just propose to compete with me? You used your wisdom on outsiders, while Lin Pingqiao used his little thought on his own family, trying to take the position of president from you." Qin Haodong said, "If I'm not mistaken, he has prepared 2 strategies in advance. The first one is to please the old master through gifts. If the old master can happily hand over the position of president to him, it will be the best. The second one is to force the old man to agree to a fair competition between you and him. Because of me, his first strategy did not succeed, so he had to use the second one." Lin Momo did not say anything, which was a tacit agreement. As Qin Haodong said, she was very smart, but she did not want to spend her time on her own family, so she did not think too much about Lin Pingqiao. Chapter 165. Lin Momo said, "Of course I want to win. No matter who the opponent is. It's not my character to admit defeat." Qin Haodong said, "Since Lin Pingqiao challenged you, he must have made full preparation in advance. Since we want to win, we have to prepare well." Lin Momo said, "I've been managing the group for so many years, and I've fought dozens of business battles, big and small. I've never lost. Of course I won't lose this time. It's too simple. This is different from a normal business battle. Lin Pingqiao is gloomy. Since he challenged you, he must have prepared many dirty tricks. Can he? After all, Grandpa is watching." Alas, Qin Haodong sighed and said, "As soon as you meet your family, your IQ immediately drops. Well, you're responsible for decorating the store, and I'll handle the rest." Lin Momo said, "Oh, well, thank you for your hard work." Qin Haodong said with a smile, "Not at all. This is what I should do. Didn't the great man say that behind a successful woman, there will be a man? No matter who wants to bully my woman, I'll make him pay." After dividing the work, Qin Haodong left the Lin's villa and went directly to the home of Su Haichuan, the master of carving. Now he had a lot of raw materials of jade, and they were all of high quality. But if he wanted to get the highest turnover in one day, a good carver was indispensable. Superb carving skills were indispensable for a high-end jade product. Sometimes a good carver could improve the quality of the jade, and even double the value. For example, the yellow jade chicken given to Lin Xiaotian just now was worth about 200 million yuan, if it wasn't for the exquisite carver. But after it was given by Su Haichuan, Qian Duoduo valued it at 400 million yuan, which showed how important carving was. When Qin Haodong arrived, Su Haichuan's family warmly welcomed him into the living room. "Dr. Qin, are you satisfied with the jade chicken?" Su Haichuan asked. "Very good." After Qin Haodong affirmed Su Haichuan's craftsmanship, he said, "But this time I'm here to ask Master Su for help." Su Haichuan said, "Dr. Qin, you are the savior of our family. If you have anything to say, just say it. Your business is our business." Qin Haodong told the whole story of Lin Pingqiao's challenge to Lin Momo, and then said, "The Lin family is not allowed to use any power in this competition. I still have a lot of raw jade materials, and I need Master Su's help to make them into finished products. No problem. It's a piece of cake. Su Haichuan immediately agreed when he mentioned the matter of jade carving. It was within Qin Haodong's expectation that Su Haichuan could help. He said, "Isn't 3 days a little short? Should I find more people to help? After all, to support a jade store, 1 or 2 finished products are definitely not enough. There's no need. The 3 of us are enough." Seeing Qin Haodong's puzzled look, Su Haichuan explained, "My son Su Xiaolong has been taught by me for a long time. His craftsmanship is no worse than mine, and he is much more energetic than me. In fact, half of the yellow jade chicken that was taken away was carved by my son. I was in charge of carving during the day, and he was in charge of carving at night. If I didn't say it out, no one could see the difference. My wife has been with me for so many years. Although she doesn't have the skill of carving, she is more than enough to do some auxiliary work." Qin Haodong said, "That won't do. You see, that roast chicken took 3 whole days to carve. We can't only have 1 piece of jade, no matter how good it is." Su Haichuan shook his head and said, "There's no comparison at all. That roast chicken is almost the best thing I've ever carved in my life. It belongs to the best of the best, so it naturally takes more time and energy. Ordinary jade products don't need to be used at all. I can carve one in a few hours. With Xiaolong's help, it's not a problem to make a dozen of jade products in 3 days." Qin Haodong thought about it. Quality was more important than quantity. Jade products were originally high-end products, and a dozen of them were enough. So he nodded and said, "Thank you, Master Su." In order to increase work efficiency, Qin Haodong also took out 3 physique-improving pills and gave 1 to each of the 3 members of the Su family. After taking the physique-improving pills, Su Haichuan's family was amazingly energetic. They barely slept for 3 days. They were busy carving except for eating and drinking. Qin Haodong was not idle either. He kept carving spells on the finished products, such as mind-clearing spell, evil-repelling spell, and qi-nourishing spell. Although these spells were the lowest spells in the cultivation world, they were still very useful for ordinary people. If Su Haichuan's exquisite carving skills could double the value of jade products, then the value could be increased more than 10 times with the help of the spells. In Lin Jigao's home, Lin Jigao, Zhang Xiuying, and Lin Pingqiao were sitting together. Zhang Xiuying said, "Son, you challenged Lin Momo in public at the birthday party today. Isn't it a little reckless?" "Reckless?" Lin Pingqiao smiled proudly and said, "It's not reckless at all. I planned it a long time ago. If I hadn't pushed the old man to the corner in public today, he wouldn't have given me such a fair chance. Now the whole Lin family has witnessed it. As long as I beat Lin Momo in the game 3 days later, the old man has no chance to regret it. The president of Lin's group will be mine." Lin Jigao said, "But you made the old man lose face by doing this." Lin Pingqiao's face changed and he said almost crazily, "Who can blame me? He forced me to do this. He's an old fool. I'm the only man in the 3rd generation of the Lin family, and I'm not bad at ability." Why should Lin Momo be the president? If I don't seize this opportunity, I can't sit in the position of president in this life. Son, you did the right thing. I support you. Zhang Xiuying then said worriedly. But if you really lose to Lin Momo this time, it will be difficult for you to be the president in the future. There is no other way. I can't wait, so I have to take a risk. Lin Pingqiao said, and I have made full preparation before this. If those old things didn't benefit from me, how could they speak for me at the birthday party? Lin Jigao said, now the old man has agreed and set an open game for you. But Lin Momo has been in charge of the group for so many years. Can you be her opponent? Lin Pingqiao said with a conceited face. Why not? I'm no worse than Lin Momo in ability, and I've been prepared for this day. Lin Momo can never be my opponent. Zhang Xiuying asked, Son, how did you prepare? Tell me, so that I can rest assured. Lin Pingqiao said, For this game, I have to prepare in 3 aspects. First of all, we are not allowed to use any resources of the Lin family in this game. I have shipped a lot of raw jade materials from the Jade Gang in Myanmar in advance, and found the best carving master to make the finished products. In this way, we can completely crush Lin Momo in both quality and quantity. Zhang Xiuying nodded and said, "This is indeed a big advantage. There are only 3 days before the game. It is too late for Lin Momo to prepare. And now the Jade Gang has cut off the supply to the Lin family. I'm afraid she can't even find the raw materials of the jade." Lin Pingqiao showed a trace of pride and continued, "Secondly, in terms of sales, I have made full preparation. Lin Momo can't sell many things at that time. Finally, and most importantly, I have to prepare enough funds just in case. If Lin Momo's sales are really greater than ours, then we will spend all our money on it. I don't believe that we can't beat that girl." Lin Zhigao said, "Son, are you crazy? Didn't you hear the old man say that all the sales of this game will be included in the Lin's group? If we use our own money to increase the sales, we will lose all our money." Lin Pingqiao said, "You can't catch the wolf without risking the child. Although we have invested a little in advance, as long as I become the president of the group, we can get the money back easily." "Son, you are right. As long as you can be the president, the money of the Lin's group will belong to our family." Zhang Xiuying said to Lin Zhigao, "Take out all the money in your pocket and give it to our son." Lin Pingqiao also said, "Dad, how much money do you have? Give it to me first. When I become the president of the group, I will double it for you." Lin Zhigao took out a bank card and said, "Son, my money is your money, but I only have 10 million left." Zhang Xiuying immediately became angry and cried, "What? Only so little money? Where did all your money go?" "Did it all go to the little vixen?" Lin Jigang said awkwardly, "I have a lot of social activities, so I spend a lot of money. Besides, I spent 10 million on a pill from Qin Haodong a few days ago. Now this is all I have left." Although he got a lot of dividends from the Lin's group every year, he had always been extravagant and extravagant. Now it was good enough to have 10 million left. Zhang Xiuying scolded, "You old bastard, are you crazy? How can you spend 10 million on a pill?" "Don't quarrel, Mom. Let bygones be bygones." Lin Pingqiao stopped Zhang Xiuying and said, "Mom, how much money do you have?" I only have this much." Zhang Xiuying suddenly became embarrassed. She took out a bank card and said, "There is 15 million in it." As the second wife of the Lin's family, she had never been frugal. She spent all day in high-end women's clubs and had a lot of lovers. Naturally, she could not save much money. Lin Pingqiao looked at the 2 bank cards in front of him and felt annoyed. He did not save money at all. There was only more than 20 million left in his pocket. Plus the 10 million in front of him, he could barely make up 40 million. 40 million was indeed a lot for ordinary people, but it was still a long way to go if he wanted to win Lin Momo. "Son, this money is not enough, right?" Lin Zhigao asked with some guilt. "Well, don't worry about it. I'll figure out how to get the rest." Lin Pingqiao waved his hand in annoyance, and then went back to his room. He walked around on the ground with his hands behind his back. Finally, he picked up his mobile phone and dialed a number. "Mr. Feng, I'm only 1 step away from the success of my plan. I still need some money." On the other side of the phone, it was Feng Tianda who had disappeared for many days. He was discussing something with a man who looked like a butler in the office. Chapter 166. Lin Pingqiao told him about the competition with Lin Momo from beginning to end, and then said, "I need a sum of money for the final preparation just in case. As long as I win the competition, the president of Lin's group will be mine." Feng Tianda said, "It sounds good, but I've already prepared so many raw jade gemstones for you. Isn't it inappropriate for me to give you more money?" Lin Pingqiao said, Haven't we agreed that you help me become the president of Lin's group? And I will help you get Lin Momo? And the money is just a backup, and the possibility of using it is not high. Feng Tianda hesitated for a moment and said, Then I promise you, because I like Lin Momo. Tell me, how much money do you need? 300 million yuan. Do you need that much? 300 million is not a small number. If you lose the money, who can I ask for the money? Lin Pingxiao said, No way. As long as I have the money, I will never lose. No matter how powerful Lin Momo is, she can't sell 300 million yuan in one day. I will win the competition. I'm a businessman, and I don't fight a battle I'm not sure of. How about this? You give me an IOU, and I lend you the money. You have to pay me back after a week, no matter you win or lose. If you can't pay me back, I will use 3% of your shares to pay you back. Lin Pingxiao said, 3% of the shares? No way, 1% of our shares are worth 300 million. How can we use 3% as a mortgage? Feng Tianda said, Didn't you say you will win? It doesn't matter how much the mortgage is, it's just a formality. You know I don't have the final say in the Feng's family. Those old guys must agree to use such a large amount of cash flow. Only if they believe you can pay back the money, they will give you the money. Lin Jigao's family only had 10% of the shares in total, and 3% was definitely a big number. But after hesitating, Lin Pingxiao said, Well, I promise you, get the money ready as soon as possible. I will use it in 3 days. Don't worry, as long as you bring me the IOU, the money will be in your account in 3 days. Feng Tianda said, and hung up the phone with a smirk. The butler was the person he trusted the most. He didn't leave just now, and heard the conversation clearly. When Feng Tianda hung up, the housekeeper said, Are we really going to lend Lin Pingxiao so much money? Feng Tianda smirked. Why not? As long as Lin Pingxiao is willing to pledge 3% of the shares of the Lin family, no matter he wins or loses, we will be the winner. The steward said again, But young master, I still don't understand why you want to cooperate with Lin Pingxiao. Just for a woman, it doesn't seem worth it. Feng Tianda said with a proud face, You're still too short-sighted. Lin Momo is just a cover. Although I really want to get her into bed, a woman is a woman. It's not comparable to the interests of our Feng family. Ever since the last drug case, our Feng family's reputation has plummeted, and our sales are dropping every day. Lin Momo is really ruthless. She took advantage of this opportunity to suppress our Feng's group and make it hard for us to breathe. The reason why I want Lin Pingxiao to be the president of the Lin family is that he is a good-for-nothing. Although he is good at playing small tricks, he doesn't know the management and operation of a big group. He can't even compare with Lin Momo's little finger in terms of ability. As long as he becomes the president, our Feng family will immediately have a chance to turn over. By then, we can not only turn over, but also directly annex the whole Lin's group. That's my ultimate goal. Good. Young master, you are so good. The housekeeper raised his thumb and said with a flattering face. Feng Tianda continued, If Lin Pingxiao can win this time, he will become the president of Lin's group, and our goal will basically be achieved. If he can't beat Lin Momo, he can't pay us the 300 million, and 3% of the shares of the Lin family will be ours. With 3% of the shares, we will become the shareholders of the Lin family, and it will be a nail in the whole Lin's group, and it will be much easier to deal with Lin Momo. It turned out that Feng Tianda didn't really stop after the last drug case, but secretly contacted Lin Pingxiao and used the power of the Jade Gang in Myanmar to stop the supply to Lin's group. All this was not an accident, but his latest plan to deal with the Lin family. And Lin Pingxiao was just a chess piece from beginning to end, but he didn't know it himself, and was trying his best to prepare for his dream of being the president. In the morning of the 4th day, after Qin Haodong and Su Haichuan were busy, 20 pieces of exquisite jade were placed in front of Qin Haodong, including bracelets, pendants, Buddha statues, Guanyin statues, and Pishio which could gather wealth and so on. After saying goodbye to the Su family, Qin Haodong took these things to the store designated as the competition venue by Lin Xiaotian. At this time, the store had been renovated. Different from other stores, there were 2 plaques hanging on the roof. The antique plaque on the left said Daqin Jewelry. This was obviously the work of Lin Momo, who used Qin Haodong's surname, and looked very elegant, compared with Pingqiao Jewelry on the plaque next to it. After seeing him, Lin Momo hurriedly ran out and said, "Haodong, why are you so late? It's almost 8 o'clock, and we haven't got our things yet." Qin Haodong said with a smile, "Don't be in such a hurry. Good food is not afraid of late. I've brought all the things." After saying that, he walked into the jewelry store with the bags in his hand. Nailin Wushuang and Qi Wen'er were already waiting inside. They were the 2 sales girls he specially invited today. Only Qin Haodong could use the young ladies of the Nailin family and the capital Qi family as sales girls. In other words, whether it was Nailin Wushuang or Qi Wen'er, no one in the world would give Qin Haodong face like this. Today, both of them were wearing white porcelain cheongsams. Their long snow-white legs paired with the high-slit cheongsams, coupled with their innate noble temperament, immediately attracted the attention of all the female creatures around them. Originally, Lin Pingqiao also invited 4 very beautiful sales girls, but they were suddenly overshadowed by the brilliance of Qi Wen'er and Nailin Wushuang. Beautiful, really beautiful. Even international famous models are not as beautiful as you. Qin Haodong smiled to the 2. Nailin Wushuang said, "Of course, don't you see who we are? But don't forget to pay us." Qi Wen'er whispered in Qin Haodong's ear, "You haven't been seen for 3 days. When will you invite me to dinner? If you don't hurry, my period will be gone." Well, Qin Haodong looked embarrassed. He was so busy these days that he forgot about it again. He quickly said, "Tonight, when it's over, we will celebrate for you." "No. Do you want the people on Earth to know that I didn't have period before? Just the 2 of us, no one more can do it." Well, let's have lunch tomorrow." Qin Haodong could only set the time for tomorrow. It was not good to go out with Qi Wen'er alone today with so many people. At this time, Lin Momo said eagerly, "Where are the things? Take them out quickly." "Here they are." Qin Haodong said and opened the bag. He took out the things inside one by one and put them on the counter. "That's all?" Lin Momo asked in surprise. Qin Haodong said, "Is it still not enough? That's a lot, there are 20. Lin Momo almost fainted. This shop was almost 100 square meters. Although Daqin Jewelry only took half of it, it was still more than 40 or 50 square meters. Such a big sales counter only had 120 things, which was not much different from a joke. Looking at Lin Pingqiao's side, there were almost 1,000 goods, large and small, which was extremely shabby in comparison. She cried with annoyance, "Qin Haodong, are you kidding me? Only these 20 things. Even if each of them is sold for 100,000 yuan, it is only 2 million yuan in total. You are bound to lose today." Qin Haodong said, 2 million? Are you kidding me? 2 million is only enough to show you. The cheapest of these things is 10 million yuan. I won't sell any less. Nailin Wushuang just took a sip of water, but after hearing what he said, she spat it out and said, "What? The cheapest is 10 million yuan. Why don't you rob a bank? Hurry up if you want to buy it, or you won't be able to get it later." Qin Haodong said, and began to open the boxes of his things, and put them one by one inside the counter. After that, he began to label the goods. Only one pendant was priced at 10 million yuan, and the others were more than 10 million yuan. The most expensive one was the jade guanyin, which was priced at 200 million yuan. Lin Momo was an expert in jade. After seeing the price, she covered her forehead and said, "Are you sure you remember correctly? We are comparing the sales, not the total price. What's the use if you can't sell them, even if the price is high? We will lose in the end." With the huge scale of Lin's group, only a few treasures would be priced at more than 10 million yuan. A bracelet like Qin Haodong's was priced at tens of millions yuan. It was impossible to sell such a sky-high price. Qin Haodong said, "Our things are absolutely worth the money, and the price is not expensive at all. And you can rest assured that there will be nothing left when we get off work." The lowest quality of these things he chose was the glutinous rice type, coupled with Su Haichuan's superb carving skills. And the most important thing was the incantation he engraved. The price was cheap. "Well, you can do whatever you want. I won't be the president anymore." Now Lin Momo had no other way. Without using the resources of Lin's group, it was impossible to find more goods to put here. Soon it was 8 o'clock. Lin Ziyuan and Lin Pingqiao came to the store together. They were in charge of the cashier together. After everything was ready, the store officially opened. When the door was opened, customers came in one after another. Because Qi Wan-er and Nalin Wushuang were too beautiful and dazzling, many people came here to see the jewelry. But when these people saw the price tags, they immediately turned around and left. But Lin Pingqiao had sold several pieces in succession. Lin Momo asked, "Haodong, are you sure we don't want to lower the price?" "No, according to this price, we will lose money. You can't lower the price." Qin Haodong smiled and said, "Don't worry, it's just the beginning. I'm here. You can't lose even if you want to." At this time, a big fat man who weighed 100 kilograms walked in from outside the door. His two small lustful eyes first circled Qi Wan-er and Nalin Wushuang's slim bodies a few times. Then he pointed to a bracelet and said, "Show me this." Chapter 167. The fat man picked up the bracelet, looked at it and said, "How much is it?" As the young lady of the Qi family, Qi Weiner was not qualified to be a shopping guide except for her beauty. She said impatiently, "Isn't it written on the label 30 million? 30 million? Are you king robbing me? Even if you sell your clothes, you can't get so much money in 100 years. The fat man raised the jade bracelet in his hand and threw it to the ground. It was obvious that this guy was here to make trouble. He took a lot of money from Lin Pingqiao, and Lin Pingqiao promised that he could get out as soon as he went to the police station. That was why he was so unscrupulous and aggressive, just to mess up Lin Momo's sales. However, the emerald bracelet did not shatter as he had expected. He looked down and saw that the emerald bracelet had fallen on the tip of one of his feet. It was not damaged at all. Qin Haodong had 500 years of experience in the cultivation world, and he had seen all kinds of things. He had guessed that Lin Pingqiao would definitely play some tricks, since he would not compete with Lin Momo fairly. So he began to pay attention to the fat man when he entered the door. When the fat man was about to throw the bracelet, he immediately stretched out his foot to catch it. He gently lifted the bracelet with his tiptoe, and the bracelet jumped up and fell into his hand. At the same time, Qi Weiner also broke out. The fat man dared to say that she was selling. As the young lady of the Qi family, how could she not be angry? Under the Cheongsam, her snow-white long legs drew a white light, and the 10-centimeter high heels fiercely kicked on the fat belly of the fat man. Ah! The fat man let out a scream, and his body, which weighed more than 100 kilograms, was kicked 7 or 8 meters away, and fell in front of the shop with a thud. That was not all. Qin Haodong had already arranged for Zhang Tinyu to stay nearby with 10 security guards from Daddy's security company. When he saw someone making trouble, Zhang Tinyu immediately rushed over and grabbed the fat man's collar. He slapped him repeatedly in the fat face, which was as big as a cattail leaf fan. Soon, the guy's head was swollen like a pig's head, and then he kicked him out of the door. Qin Haodong put the bracelet back on the counter, glanced at Lin Pingqiao, and then said to Zhang Tinyu, "If there is such a troublemaker again, directly break his legs." "Got it, boss," Zhang Tinyu and his security guards said at the same time. The fat man outside the door was scared to get up from the ground and ran away. Seeing his first plan failed, Lin Pingqiao's expression did not change much, and he still looked calm. The business of the store continued. About 10 minutes later, A middle-aged man wearing glasses walked in from outside. He was dressed in a suit and leather shoes. He looked gentle and refined, like a successful person. He first came to Pingqiao Jewelry and exclaimed when he saw the things on the counter, "The jade here is so good. Not only is it exquisite, but it's also of good quality. I must choose a good one for my wife today." The man exaggeratedly praised for a while, and finally, chose a jade ruby, and bought it with ruby at jade ruby. But after that, the middle-aged man did not leave directly, but turned around and walked to Daqing Jewelry. At this time, his expression was completely different from before. While looking at the things on the counter, he kept shaking his head and said, "You are also in the jewelry business, but you are so much worse than Pingqiao Jewelry. Not only are the goods inferior, but the carving is also inferior. How can you sell it at such a high price? This is not the attitude of a businessman, isn't it?" Everyone could see that this guy was obviously hired by Lin Pingqiao. Zhang Tinia looked at Qin Haodong with an inquiring look, and as long as Qin Haodong nodded, he would immediately break the guy's legs. Qin Haodong slightly shook his head. If the fat man acted like a rogue just now, no one would say anything if his legs were directly broken. But if the customer said that his goods were not good enough, then no one would dare to buy from him. He went to the middle-aged man and said, "Sir, you can choose not to buy our goods, but you can't talk nonsense. What we sell in Daqing Jewelry is quality. Although it's a little expensive, it's all good stuff that is worth the money." "Good stuff? Quality? What a joke." The middle-aged man laughed and pointed to the ruby jade in his hand and said, "Look at the carving of this ruby jade. The pattern is exquisite and beautiful. It's obviously made by a master." He pointed to another ruby jade in the counter of Daqing Jewelry and said, "Look at this one. What is it? It's obvious that he's just randomly carving a few blades to fool people." Qin Haodong's mouth was full of disdain. Obviously, the quality of the actor hired by Lin Pingqiao was not good, and he didn't know anything about jade carving at all. This ruby jade was made by Master Su Haichuan, and had reached the realm of simplicity and simplicity. Although there were only a few carvings, it was absolutely profound and better than the one in Qin Haodong's hand. Lin Momo was an expert in jade. She couldn't help saying, "Sir, please don't talk nonsense, or you will be laughed at. Although the carving of this ruby jade in your hand is not bad, it can't be compared with the one in Daqing Jewelry." "I have no taste." "What a joke. How could I have no taste? Even people who don't know jade can see that the one in my hand is obviously made by a master." After that, the middle-aged man turned to a waiter of Pingqiao Jewelry and said, "Little girl, can you tell me which master made this ruby jade?" The waiter said, "Sir, this ruby jade is the work of Mr. Zhou Hailiang, the master of jade carving." "If you don't believe it, I can ask Master Zhou to come out and meet you." The middle-aged man cried, "Great! Master Zhou is a famous carving master in Jiangnan. Please ask him to come out, and let these people see who has no taste." Qin Haodong watched quietly. It was obvious that Lin Pingqiao had planned all of this. When the waiter invited a middle-aged man in his 30s out, 4 or 5 reporters with cameras rushed into the jewelry store and began to interview them on the spot. He knew one of them. It was Li Yuan, who he met at the board meeting of Lin's group last time. When Zhou Hailiang came out, Li Yuan immediately went to interview him. "Master Zhou, is this ruby jade made by you?" Zhou Hailiang said, "Yes, it took me 3 days to carve it. The quality is very good." "Master Zhou, are all the jade products of Pingqiao Jewelry your works?" Li Yuan asked again. "You can say that some of them are made by me, and some by my apprentice. But no matter which one is made by me, the quality is guaranteed," Zhou Hailiang said confidently. At the same time, the reporter's flashes kept flashing. The middle-aged man said, "Master Zhou, I just said that your work is better than the ruby jade of Daqing Jewelry, and they said that I have no taste." Zhou Hailiang smiled arrogantly. "There is an old saying in Huaxia that people of the same trade are enemies. Maybe their things are better than mine, Everyone could see that he was praising Daqin jewelry. He was obviously saying that the ruby jade of Daqin jewelry was not as good as the one he carved. Li Yuanyuan said, Master Zhou, we are all laymen in jade carving. Can you give us a specific comment on the difference between the two works? Lin Pingqiao didn't go forward. He just watched quietly, with a smug look on his face. He had arranged all this in advance, so that he could beat Daqin jewelry with Zhou Hailiang's carving skills, and then make a promotion through the media. Zhou Hailiang said hypocritically, We all carve for a living. It's not appropriate for me to comment on it. The middle-aged man said, It's nothing. Since he dares to sell his work at such a high price, he should accept the comment of a master. Li Yuanyuan said, That's right. Master Zhou, please help us laymen. Well, I'll do it. After that, surrounded by these people, Zhou Hailiang went directly to the counter of Daqin jewelry. Zhang Tiniu and others wanted to stop him, but Qin Haodong stopped them. He wanted to see how Master Zhou would comment on Su Haichuan's work. Zhou Hailiang came to the counter of Daqin jewelry with an arrogant face. When he saw the ruby jade on the counter, he was stunned and couldn't say a word. The middle-aged man didn't notice Zhou Hailiang's abnormality. He said proudly, Master Zhou, I'm talking about this ruby jade. Although I'm a layman, you can see that the carving technique is much simpler than yours. It's like cutting corners. Li Yuanyuan said. Master Zhou, say something. What's the difference between the two jade ruby jade? Zhou Hailiang still didn't say anything. At this time, a cold snort came from the side. Someone said, How dare you call yourself a master? Everyone looked back and saw a middle-aged man in his 50s standing behind Zhou Hailiang. It was Su Haichuan. The middle-aged man said discontentedly, Who are you? How dare you talk to Master Zhou like that? Master Zhou can't call himself a master. Are you a master? Li Yuanyuan said, Yes, sir. Master Zhou is a famous master in the south of the Yangtze River. You should be polite to him. Su Haichuan sneered. You want me to respect him? Do you think he deserves it? How can you talk like that? Why can't Master Zhou? What else did the middle-aged man want to say? At this time, Zhou Hailiang came to Su Haichuan respectfully. He bowed deeply and said, Master, I'm your disciple. The onlookers were shocked, including the customers who came to buy goods. No one had expected that the arrogant Master Zhou Hailiang was the disciple of the man in front of them. The middle-aged man was dumbfounded. Li Yuanyuan also opened her mouth speechless. Su Haichuan said, Tell me, what's the difference between my ruby jade and yours? Zhou Hailiang said respectfully, I don't dare to comment on your masterpiece. I've taught you for so many years, but you haven't made any progress. Look at what you've carved. Su Haichuan pointed at the ruby jade in the middle-aged man's hand and said coldly, From today on, go back and practice hard. If you can't reach the state of simplifying and returning to the original state, don't come out and embarrass me. Yes, master. Zhou Hailiang bowed to Su Haichuan respectfully like a primary school student, and then left the jewelry store without looking back. Lin Pingqiao was dumbfounded. Zhou Hailiang was an engraver he spent a lot of money to hire. He originally wanted to suppress Qin's engraver, but he didn't expect that Zhou Hailiang was Qin's disciple. Chapter 168. Although Zhou Hailiang had left, what happened just now was a vivid advertisement for Qin Haodong. Everyone knew that the jade here was made by a master, so the guests immediately gathered around Daqin jewelry. Lin Pingqiao gnashed his teeth, but the price of the jade here was too high. Although there were many people watching, they still couldn't make a sale, which made him feel better. This beautiful lady, can I have a look at that jade ruby? A middle-aged man with a Hong Kong accent said to Nailan Wushuang. The man was about 40 years old, wearing a famous suit, and a Rolex watch worth more than 1 million yuan. He was obviously a rich man, but his trachea didn't look very good. When he spoke, He was a little breathless and coughed a few times. The middle-aged man took the jade ruby in his hand and carefully looked it up and down. He couldn't help sighing and saying, "It's really a masterpiece, and the quality of this jade is also good. But 30 million yuan is a little expensive. Well, I'll take it if it's 10 million yuan." Seeing the hope of making a sale, Nalan Wushuang and Lin Momo looked at Qin Haodong together, their eyes full of inquiry. In their opinion, it was a lot to sell the ruby for 10 million yuan. But they were disappointed. Qin Haodong came over and said, "This jade ruby is at least 30 million yuan, no less." The middle-aged man shook his head and said, "It's too expensive. Although it's good, it's not worth 30 million yuan." Qin Haodong didn't talk about the jade anymore. He asked, "Sir, you're not from Jiangnan, are you?" The middle-aged man said, "I'm from Hong Kong, and I'm doing business in Jiangnan." "You're a Hong Kong businessman," Qin Haodong said again. "Sir, your lungs and trachea are not very good, right?" "I do have some problems with my lungs. I often cough. I've seen many doctors, but they can't cure me. It's getting worse these years, and now there are signs of asthma." The Hong Kong businessman didn't have much interest in chatting with Qin Haodong. He said, "Little brother, I want this jade ruby for good luck." "Well, I'll pay 15 million yuan. If you sell it, I'll take it away. If not, I'll leave." Seeing someone offered such a high price to buy Qin Haodong's ruby jade, Lin Pingqiao was so jealous. Although Pingqiao Jewelry had opened several stores, the total price was less than 1 million, which was even less than a fraction of the price of Qin Haodong's ruby jade. At this time, Lin Pingqiao wished he could rush over and pull the Hong Kong businessman to his side. Lin Momo also winked at Qin Haodong from time to time. In her opinion, 15 million was a lot. As long as they sold the jade ruby, they could take the lead. "Sir, I've said it before. Everything here has a fixed price. Not a penny less." Qin Haodong refused again. Lin Momo was disappointed, but Lin Pingqiao was happy. Fortunately, Qin Haodong didn't sell it, or he would be in trouble. The Hong Kong businessman shook his head in disappointment and turned around to leave. At this time Qin Haodong said, "Sir, this jade ruby is not suitable for you. You can try this jade pendant." Then he reached out and took out a yellow jade pendant from the counter. It was made of the yellow jade leftover from the jade roast chicken. The Hong Kong businessman shook his head and said, "I'm sorry. I want that jade ruby for good luck. I don't like this pendant." Qin Haodong said, "Don't refuse it. Try it on and you'll know. It's the most suitable thing for you." The Hong Kong businessman looked at Qin Haodong with confusion. Finally, he took the jade pendant and hung it around his neck. "Little brother, this pendant is good, but I really don't need it." The Hong Kong businessman suddenly changed his expression. It turned out that since he put on the jade pendant, a cool feeling rose from his chest. He didn't gasp or cough when he talked. He felt very comfortable from his lungs to his trachea. "What's going on? Is it because of this pendant?" The Hong Kong businessman couldn't believe it. In order to verify his guess, he took the pendant off his neck. But as soon as the pendant left his chest, the feeling of gasping in his lungs came back. He put the pendant back on and immediately felt very comfortable. Now he was finally sure that all this was caused by the pendant. The Hong Kong businessman looked excited and said to Qin Haodong, "Little brother, what's going on? Is this pendant a magic instrument?" Feng Shui was very popular in Hong Kong, so it was not surprising that the businessman knew about magic instruments. Qin Haodong said, "This is a magic instrument. There is a spell engraved on it to strengthen the body. As long as you wear it all year round, not only will your lung disease slowly recover, but it will also be good for your whole body. It can be said that you will not get sick." "That's great, little brother. I didn't expect you to have such a treasure. If it's a magic instrument, it's not expensive at all. It's even too cheap." The Hong Kong businessman pointed to the jade ruby and asked, "Is this also a magic instrument?" Qin Haodong nodded and said, "Yes, but there is a spell engraved on the ruby, which is suitable for people who are manic or infected with external diseases. That's why I said it's not suitable for you. I'll take this pendant." Little brother, do you have any good things that can make me rich? The Hong Kong businessman asked excitedly. Although feng shui was very popular in Hong Kong, and there were many masters, it was extremely difficult to find a magic instrument. He didn't expect to find so many of them here. If it wasn't for the limited amount of cash he had, he would have bought all of them in one go. In this case, he decided to choose a pendant that could strengthen the body and a magic instrument that could make money. After all, he was a businessman. The more money he made, the better. Qin Haodong pointed to an emerald piccio and said, "If you want to get rich, you can choose that. The piccio itself means to make money, and there is a spell engraved on it. But the price of the piccio is a little more expensive. 50 million no less. 50 million is not expensive at all." The Hong Kong businessman said excitedly. What he said was absolutely true. If this kind of magic instrument was taken to Hong Kong, the price would be at least 5 to 10 times higher. But in the eyes of others, it became a lot more strange. Lin Momo, Chi Wan-er and others all looked at the Hong Kong businessman in surprise. They thought, is he crazy? He said it was not expensive while buying things. Little brother, I'll take both of them. Please wrap up the piccio for me. The Hong Kong businessman said with a happy face. The emerald pendant was hanging on his neck, and he didn't want to take it off for a moment. Although his business in Jiangnan was not smooth, it was a great joy for him to be able to buy 2 magic instruments at once. Pay over there. 30 million for the pendant and 50 million for the piccio. 80 million in total. Qin Haodong pointed to the cashier and said. Under everyone's gaze, the Hong Kong businessman took a bank card to the cashier and quickly paid 80 million in one go. After paying the money, he happily took the 2 items and left the store. Everyone was dumbfounded. These 2 items earned him 80 million in the blink of an eye. The speed was too fast. Lin Momo was overjoyed, but Lin Pingqiao was so angry that he gnashed his teeth and scolded. Bullshit. It must be a shill. Otherwise, who would spend 80 million on those 2 things? Anyway, Daqin Jewelry had sold 80 million in turnover, far ahead of Pingqiao Jewelry. After that, both sides continued to sell. Although Lin Pingqiao's store was full of customers and products were sold one by one, the price of his products could not be compared with Qin Haodong's. After selling dozens of products, it barely reached 10 million. And Daqin Jewelry just sold a jade magic instrument worth 20 million. And the total turnover had reached 100 million yuan. Bastard! You used 100 million to find shills to buy your own things. No matter how much money you have prepared, you can't have more than me. Lin Pingqiao had lost the confidence to sell slowly. He went into the bathroom, took out his phone and dialed Feng Tianda's number. Mr. Feng, I'm short on money. Hurry up and ask someone to bring me all the money. What? You can't hold on after just one morning? Feng Tianda asked with a smile. Don't mention it. Lin Momo must have prepared the money. 3 things just sold for 100 million yuan. I can't compare with her. Don't worry, I'll call my cousin right away. Lin Pingqiao said. You must tell him to pretend well, and don't let the cat out of the bag. I know. Feng Tianda hung up the phone and asked the housekeeper to call a young man in. This man was his cousin Zhang Bao. He had been studying in M country these years, and just returned to Huaxia a few days ago. He didn't know many people in Jiangnan, so he was the best person to be a shill. Cousin, what's up? Zhang Bao's face was a little pale, and he didn't look well. Feng Tianda said, It's the thing I told you yesterday. There are 300 million yuan in this card, and the password is 6 5s. Now go to Pingqiao Jewelry to buy the best jade products and spend half of the money. Then I'll ask someone else to spend the other half. Remember, it's very important. Don't make a mistake. Zhang Bao said, Don't worry, cousin. I'm the best at spending money. I'm sure I won't make a mistake. Just spend the money on Pingqiao Jewelry. I promise no one will know I'm a shill. Then he took the bank card, turned around and walked out of the office. Qin Haodong was in charge of Daqin Jewelry. Time passed very easily. Now he had 100 million yuan. As long as Lin Pingqiao didn't play any tricks, Lin Momo would win. At this moment, he saw a young man in his 20s coming in from the door. His pupils suddenly shrank. The young man's lower abdomen was covered with a cloud of black gas. Of course, this black gas couldn't be seen by ordinary people. Zhang Bao walked into the jewelry store with his hands in his pockets. To avoid exposing his identity as a shill, he didn't go directly to Pingqiao Jewelry to spend money. Instead, he went to Daqin Jewelry first. As soon as he saw Nalan Wushuang and Qin Wen'er and Chong Sam, his eyes lit up, and a violent sense of beauty hit his brain nerves. He had never seen such beautiful women in so many years. But then he fell into a great loss, because he had lost the function of a man. No matter how beautiful a woman was, he could only appreciate it. The reason why Zhang Bao returned to Huaxia this time was that he met a native girl during a one-night stand in M country. After that, the girl insisted on marrying him, but he didn't agree. But from that day on, he lost the function of a man, and he never cheered up again. He saw many doctors, but none of them had any effect. No matter how advanced the equipment was, they couldn't find anything wrong with him. Later, someone told him that he was cursed by the Aborigines. Chapter 169. But he had been back in Huaxia for 7 or 8 days. He had seen all the famous doctors of traditional Chinese medicine in the south of the Yangtze River, and taken a lot of Chinese medicine to strengthen the kidneys. But it still didn't work. Thinking of this, Wang Bao shook his head hard, as if to get rid of the depression in his heart. Then he forced himself to turn his eyes from the beauty to the counter of Daqin Jewelry. Why are there so few items? After selling 3 jade products in succession, there were only 17 exhibits left in Daqin Jewelry. They were placed in the wide counter, which looked really empty. Damn, why are they still so expensive? Wang Bao was shocked when he saw the labels of the exhibits. He had traveled all over the world, and had been to many jewelry exhibitions, but he was still shocked by the prices in front of him. Beauty, let me have a look at that gem necklace, Wang Bao said to Nalan Wushuang. Before Nalan Wushuang could say anything, Qin Haodong came over and patted Wang Bao on the shoulder. He held a dragon-shaped jade pendant in his hand and said, "Sir, please take a look at this jade pendant. It's perfect for you." Wang Bao turned his head to look at Qin Haodong, and then fixed his eyes on the jade pendant in his hand. It was a green jade pendant carved with water and ice. There was a huge dragon on it, flying in the clouds, baring its fangs and brandishing its claws. It was obviously the work of a master. He took the jade pendant and looked at it. He said, "It's not bad, but no modern people wear such things." Qin Haodong smiled and said, "You can't know whether it's good or not until you try it. Sir, you can wear it and feel it. Maybe you can't live without it." "Are you kidding? It's just a delicate jade pendant. It's not a drug. I can't be addicted to it. Why can't I live without it?" Wang Bao said as he hung the dragon-shaped jade pendant on his waist. As soon as he put it on, he felt a warm current rising from his waist. The second leader, who had been silent for several months, suddenly became full of vigor and fighting spirit. "My God, what's going on?" Wang Bao was so shocked that he almost jumped up. In the past few months, he had a deep taste of what it was like to be a chief executive. He didn't expect that he would be rejuvenated. He was so excited that he almost cried. What's going on? Could it be related to this thing? Like the Hong Kong businessman, Wang Bao took off the jade pendant and put it back on. He tried it a few times and finally confirmed that the jade pendant was the reason why his second-in-command could stand up again. Qin Haodong just looked at Wang Bao with a smile and said nothing. The dragon-shaped jade pendant was attached with the spell of exorcism, which could restrain the curse on Wang Bao. That was why he recommended it to him. After calming down, Wang Bao asked Qin Haodong, "Little brother, what's going on?" If I'm not wrong, you've been bewitched by someone, and this jade pendant happens to have the function of strengthening the body and dispelling evil. So it's most suitable for you. Little brother, no great master, I have indeed been cursed. Do you think I can still be saved? Wang Bao looked at Qin Haodong eagerly as if he was his savior. It was no wonder. He had been looking for doctors and Taoist priests everywhere. But these people could do nothing about the curse on his body. Now that he finally saw hope, how could he not be excited? Qin Haodong said, "It's very simple. Wear this jade pendant for 3 months, and the evil qi will be removed naturally." "Great master, how much is it?" "I'll take it," Wang Bao said excitedly. 100 million yuan, no bargaining. That's too expensive." Qin Haodong said lightly. "It's not expensive as long as it's worth it. Otherwise, even if you spend 1 billion yuan, you won't be cured. You'll have to serve the emperor in the palace. And my jade pendant is only for sale for 1 day. Wait, if someone else buys it, you won't have a chance to buy it even if you want to." Thinking of the grievances and pain he had suffered these days, Wang Bao finally gritted his teeth and said, 100 million it is. I'll take it. Then he went to the cashier to pay, but Qin Haodong stopped him and said, "Don't worry, this ring is also very suitable for you." As he spoke, Qin Haodong took out a gem ring from the counter and gave it to Wang Bao. Wang Bao took the ring and put it on his finger, but he didn't feel any difference. It didn't have the immediate effect when he wore the dragon-shaped jade pendant. "Master, what's so good about this ring?" Qin Haodong said, "In fact, I'm a doctor. I just know some magic. I think you've been overused these years. Even if you get rid of the evil spell, I'm afraid you can't be a father in this life. Master, help me." After hearing this, if there weren't so many people around, Wang Bao would have knelt down and kowtowed to Qin Haodong. Relying on his good family, he had been playing around since he was a teenager. He didn't know how many women he had slept with, but it also caused him to be seriously overused. 3 years ago, when he had a physical examination, the doctor said that he had a low sperm count. He was doomed to be infertile. As he grew older, his desire for a family and children grew. Naturally, he hoped that Qin Haodong could cure him. He said eagerly again, "Master, as long as you can cure me, I'm willing to pay any price." Qin Haodong said, "The function of this ring is to constantly replenish your yang qi. As long as you know how to control your life, you can make up for the deficiency in your body in a year, and be a father again." "That's great, master. How much is this ring?" "I'll buy it. Not expensive, only 50 million. "Okay, I'll pay now." Then Wang Bao rushed to the cashier to pay. Lin Momo and others were stunned, and then they felt it was funny. The scene just now was a bit familiar. Why did it feel so similar to the Big Hoodwinker skit on the CCTV Spring Festival Gala a few years ago? Anyway, Qin Haodong made a turnover of 150 million in a blink of an eye, which was beyond the reach of the best salesman in the world. At the cashier, Lin Ziyuan and Lin Jigao also opened their eyes wide when they heard that Wang Bao was going to give 150 million to Daqing Jewelry. Then Lin Ziyuan looked excited, while Lin Jigao was full of jealousy. He wanted to grab the money and give it to his son, but Wang Bao said it was for Daqing Jewelry, so he couldn't do anything even if he was anxious. Lin Pingqiao also saw the scene, and he was so angry that he was about to vomit blood. He was secretly worried, wondering why the person Feng Tianda hired hadn't come yet. If he knew that Wang Bao was a shill sent by Feng Tianda, and he just spent the money on Qin Haodong, and it was his 300 million, he would probably go crazy immediately. After Wang Bao paid, he took the jade pendant from Qin Haodong and put it on his waist, and the gem ring on his finger. Then he realized that he was going to be a shill for Pingqiao Jewelry, so he hurried to Lin Pingqiao with his bank card, randomly chose some things, and swiped the remaining 150 million. Then he left the jewelry store in a hurry. Now all the people in the jewelry store were confused. They didn't know what Wang Bao meant. Did he buy things here just because he was rich? Lin Pingqiao's turnover increased by 150 million yuan at once, which made him very happy, but at the same time, he was a little confused. He thought Wang Bao was a shill hired by Lin Momo. But who knew Wang Bao spent 150 million yuan on Daqing jewelry, and the same amount on him? Who was the shill? Lin Momo, and the others were also confused. Wang Bao bought things in Pingqiao jewelry at random, so he must be a shill. But if he was a shill hired by Lin Pingqiao, how could he have bought 150 million yuan from them? No one would have thought that Qin Haodong had earned the 150 million yuan with his own ability. After Wang Bao left the jewelry store, he was also confused. How could he explain to his cousin when he spent 150 million more? Anyway, his health was the most important thing. He should go back and tell his parents. And then he would return the money to his cousin when he had enough. Thinking of this, Wang Bao didn't go back to Feng Tianda, but went home directly. He was afraid that Feng Tianda would find him, so he turned off his phone. It was already past noon, and the turnover of Pingqiao jewelry was still 90 million behind that of Daqing jewelry. Lin Pingqiao was really anxious now. He called Feng Tianda again. "Mr. Feng, why hasn't your man come yet?" Feng Tianda said with surprise. "My cousin has already gone there." "I asked him to spend 150 million at your place first, and then I'll find someone to spend another 150 million. But he hasn't come back yet." Hearing this, Lin Pingqiao's heart skipped a beat, and he asked nervously, "Is your cousin about 1.7 meters tall, a little fat, wearing a checkered half-sleeved shirt and dark blue jeans?" "Yes, that's my cousin Wang Bao." Feng Tianda asked, "Have you seen him?" Lin Pingqiao said, "If that man is your cousin, he has been here." "That's good. I asked him to spend 150 million at your place. Did he do it?" Lin Pingqiao said with a pale face. "He did spend 150 million at my place, but I don't understand why he also spent 150 million at Lin Momo's place." Feng Tianda said with surprise. "Wang Bao also spent money there? That's impossible. I asked him to bring the money back." "It's not impossible. I saw it with my own eyes. He did spend 150 million at Qin Haodong's place and bought 2 things. Is he crazy?" Feng Tianda was also confused, and he said, "Don't worry, I'll call him now." Then he hurriedly hung up the phone with Lin Pingqiao, and then dialed Wang Bao's number. "Sorry, the number you dialed is not available." Feng Tianda called several times in succession, and the same tone came from the other side. "What the hell? This guy is so unreliable." He cursed with annoyance. Although his aunt's assets were not as strong as Feng's group, they still had billions, so he was not afraid that Wang Bao would go back on his word. But he couldn't raise so much money in a short time. At this time, Lin Pingqiao called again. "Mr. Feng, how's it going? Did you find the money? Call me as soon as possible. I'm really in a hurry, and I still need 100 million turnover from Lin Momo." Feng Tianda said, "I don't know where Wang Bao is, and his phone is turned off. I can't do anything about it." Lin Pingqiao became anxious and cried, "Mr. Feng, how can you do this? Hurry up and think of a way to get me another 150 million, or else I'll really lose this competition." Chapter 170. Feng Tianda, you're setting me up, aren't you? Lin Pingqiao was completely anxious. He cried with bloodshot eyes. "If there's no money, I'll lose this game. I can't be the president of Lin's family, and I can't get back all the money I invested. What do you want me to do?" "Lin Pingqiao, don't forget who you're talking to," Feng Tianda said. "I've been helping you all the time. Without my help, how could the Jade Gang stop supplying to Lin's family? Without my help, where can you find so many raw materials of jade?" Lin Pingqiao also knew that he was too harsh just now. He calmed down and said, "But if there's no follow-up money now, I'll lose this game. All the previous efforts will be in vain. It's just a game. It's not a big deal to lose. Besides, it's not over yet. It's not too late to find a way. You're the young master of Lin's family. You can't even get this little money, can you? Lin Pingqiao was so angry that he couldn't do anything. If he could find the money so easily, he wouldn't mortgage 3% of the shares of Lin's family to him. I can find a way to get the money by myself. What about the shares I mortgaged? Feng Tianda said lightly. What else can you do? The shares are in the hands of the board of directors. I'll give them back to you when you get back 300 million. If you can't get them back, there's nothing I can do. Lin Pingqiao said angrily. But you only gave me 150 million. Stop it. Hurry up and find a way to get the money. Feng Tianda didn't give Lin Pingqiao a chance to speak. He hung up the phone directly. Feng Tianda, LF*CKU. Lin Pingqiao roared at the phone, which scared the others in the bathroom. They thought he was a psycho. They pulled up their pants and ran out. But he also knew it was not the time to lose his temper. The most urgent thing was to find the money. After thinking for a while, he dialed Zhang Xiuying's phone and said, Mom, no matter what you do now, whether you borrow money or mortgage all the houses and shares of the family, you must get me 200 million before 4 p.m., or we'll lose this game. Son, where can I get so much money in such a short time? How about we give up, and the loss will be smaller? Bullshit. Lin Pingqiao didn't care that it was his mother on the phone. He roared crazily. For PM, if you can't find the money, I'll kill myself. He was like a gambler who had lost so much that he was hysterical. He wanted to fight Lin Momo to the death at all costs. He was hysterical and would fight with Momo to death with Lin Momo at any cost. Zhang Xiuying was scared by Lin Pingqiao. She hung up the phone and hurried out of the house. First, she borrowed 100 million from Zhao Zhongchen. Then she mortgaged several properties of her family and got another 100 million loan. At 4 p.m., T. Lin Pingqiao, T. Shi, T. Lint Right. Lin's, T. Lin, and Lint Right LL Lint T. He won't he the same that you he. T he said I he wong he. As for Qin Haodong, although he sold a product worth 20 million yuan, the total turnover was only 270 million yuan, which was 100 million yuan lower than Lin Pingqiao's. Lin Pingqiao calmed down when he saw he was in the lead. He looked up at the clock on the wall, and then at Qin Haodong. He felt proud. There's less than an hour left until the agreed time of 5 p.m. I'd like to see where you guys can find 100 million. Lin Momo, although the turnover of 250 million was far beyond her imagination, she would lose the game if it went on like this. Seeing her anxious look, Qin Haodong said calmly, Don't worry. The big buyer will be here soon. What big buyer? You're hiding something from me, aren't you? Lin Momo asked. Just then, there was a commotion at the door. More than a dozen luxury cars stopped in front of the door. More than a dozen people got off the cars and walked to the jewelry store, surrounded by many bodyguards. Look, the big buyer is here. After saying that, Qin Haodong waved to Zhang Tinyu and others. Go out and bring the guests in. Zhang Tinyu answered and went out. Soon, more than a dozen people walked into the jewelry store. They all wore masks and sunglasses, as if they were afraid of being recognized. The leader was a tall woman. Although she wore a mask and sunglasses, her unique temperament could not be hidden. After entering the store, the woman looked around and saw Qin Haodong. She walked over with a smile, took off the mask and sunglasses, and gave them to the assistant next to her. Oh my God, am I seeing things? Isn't this the big star, Ouyang Shanshan? Ouyang Shanshan. It's really Ouyang Shanshan. Goddess, can I have your autograph? Goddess, can you take a picture with me? Many people immediately rushed up to Ouyang Shanshan when they saw her. However, Chen Fugui and his men protected Ouyang Shanshan closely. With the cooperation of Zhang Tinyu, they directly blocked these people out of the crowd. Then, the people behind Ouyang Shanshan also took off their masks and glasses. Suddenly, the commotion at the scene became louder and louder. These people were all famous stars in Huaxia. There were handsome men and beautiful women. The jewelry store suddenly became full of stars. Fortunately, there were not too many guests in the store, so the situation could be controlled. Ouyang Shanshan took a few steps forward and came to Qin Haodong. She said, Mr. Qin, these are all my friends. Let's see what good treasures you have in your store. Next, she introduced all the stars behind her to Qin Haodong. These people all came forward to greet Qin Haodong with extremely respectful expressions. None of them were arrogant at all. The onlookers were stunned. They didn't know who this young man was, and why so many big stars were so respectful to him. They didn't know that before they came, their boss Lu Huaqiang had given a strict order to these people. They should treat Qin Haodong the same way they treated his father. If anyone dared to make Qin Haodong unhappy, they would immediately be given the cold palace and banned for life. Because of this, these big stars put away their arrogance and put on a flattering smile on their faces. Ouyang Shanshan received a call from Qin Haodong, so she came with her friends in the entertainment circle to support him. After greeting them, she said to Qin Haodong, Mr. Qin, can you introduce your treasures to my friends? Our great Qin Jewelry's jadeite products are all made from the best jadeite materials and carved by master sculptors. They look very exquisite, and most importantly, they're not just for decoration. Each type has its own function, and everyone can choose a treasure that suits them according to their own circumstances. Qin Haodong said to a male star standing next to Ouyang Shanshan, You haven't been sleeping well recently. This male star was Ma Jun, 30 years old. He was a very famous A-list star in Huaxia, and the dream lover of countless female fans. The reason why he came to the jewelry store this time was to show respect to Ouyang Shanshan and the big boss Lu Huaqiang. But deep down, he didn't take a young man like Qin Haodong seriously. Moreover, most stars had trouble sleeping because of the pressure, so it was not a big deal for him to see it. He nodded and said, Yes, Mr. Qin. I haven't been sleeping well recently. Qin Haodong took 2 steps forward and whispered in Ma Jun's ear. The reason why you can't sleep well at night is not because of the pressure, but because you dream about a woman who wants to kill you every night. This situation has been going on for about 10 days, right? Ma Jun was shocked and said in a trembling voice, How did you know? If you don't want to be the headline of the paparazzi tomorrow, keep your voice down. Qin Haodong continued to whisper in Ma Jun's ear. This woman was killed by a car accident. 10 days ago, you passed by the road where she was killed on your way home. She attached herself to you because she couldn't find the murderer who killed her, so she vented her anger on you. Mr. Qin, no, Master Qin, please help me. I really can't hold it anymore. Ma Jun had been dreaming about a female ghost who wanted to kill him since 10 days ago, so he couldn't sleep well every night. He hadn't told anyone about this, but Qin Haodong could tell him clearly, which made him believe that he had met a master. Take this jade guanyin home, and you can sleep well tonight. Qin Haodong pointed to the jade guanyin on the counter and said, It was priced at 200 million yuan. The reason why his product was priced at 200 million was not only because the raw material was excellent ice-type jade, but also because this jade guanyin was enchanted with 2 kinds of spells, the exorcism spell and the peace spell. It was definitely a good thing to seek good luck and avoid evil at home. Okay, I'll buy it. Thank you for your advice, Master Qin. Ma Jun immediately asked his agent next to him to pay at the cashier. 200 million yuan was indeed an astronomical figure for ordinary people. But it was nothing for him. After all, his life was the most important thing. Lin Pingqiao was so jealous when he saw these big stars went straight to Qin Haodong. He couldn't wait to call them all to his side. At this time, seeing Qin Haodong sold a jade guanyin worth 200 million yuan in less than a few minutes, he was so angry that he almost vomited blood. He had used all his money, and even asked Zhang Xiaoying to mortgage his house to barely reach the current sales. But he only maintained the lead for a few minutes, and was surpassed in a blink of an eye. Now Lin Momo's sales increased by another 100 million yuan. How could he catch up? But the nightmare was just the beginning. Qin Haodong continued his sales, and came to a female star. This female celebrity was called Lu Mena. She was a talented female singer. Miss, have you been weak and lack of chi recently? You used to be easy to sing high notes, but now it's very difficult. And you can't even sing them. Yes, Mr. Qin, you are so right. What do you think I should buy? Lu Mena said repeatedly. Qin Haodong pointed out her physical condition as soon as they met, which convinced her very much. Recently, she had been worried about the lack of qi. As a singer, nothing was more troublesome than this. But she went to the hospital several times, but she couldn't find any reason. Try this on, Qin Haodong said, and took out a jade bracelet and gave it to her. Lu Mena took the bracelet and put it on her wrist. Soon she showed a look of surprise. At this time, she felt full of strength and wanted to sing a song immediately. Obviously, this was the effect of the bracelet. You're tuning in to the Li Mei Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.